What's going on, guys? It's another episode of Why is my mic? Okay, there we go. What's up, guys? It's another episode of DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. Welcome to the another episode. We're on episode 12. Inside your head, we're gonna definitely talk about the CM Punk and Roman Reigns, their third promo they had on Raw. We're going to break down of who was on the phone with Randy Orton. No more masked man, man. We're getting tired of the masked man, so we're going to give you our opinion about what's going on with the masked man, and we're going to give you our thoughts about Oba Femi, the ruler, versus Brock Lesnar, the Beast incarnate. I cannot wait for WrestleMania. It seems like we're going to have a decent card, but we're definitely going to get in talks of that, and we're going to give you our thoughts about Bayley and AJ Lee, the match, and our thoughts about possibility of what's going to probably happen with AJ Lee and Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Also, we're going to touch on what was going on with the Vision and Maxxine Dupri. If you did not see lately, WWE has been doing stuff in the background. If anyone has not been noticing, and we've seen Austin Theory talking to Maxxine Dupri. Is Maxxine Dupri is going to become the first Paul Heyman girl? We're definitely going to talk about that, guys. We definitely got to get into that. And then we're going to get into some SmackDown, which is Randy Orton trying to recreate the legacy, the group that him and Cody was in. We know that Ted DiBiase did get off on his deal. He was free to go. So, and Randy did do a lot of legacy talk in the promo that he did on SmackDown. We're definitely going to touch on that. And R-Truth and Damien Priest are the new SmackDown champions. My God, MFT is lost the titles, and now they're on Damien Priest. We're going to definitely touch and give you our thoughts about what we think about the SmackDown brand, and we're definitely going to get about. We're going to touch on Solo. Tama Tonkin telling Solo, you're acting like Roman Reigns. Shouts out to everyone who's coming in. If you want to give us a call and be a guest speaker on DWE Radio, the link is on my page, and I will repost it here in a couple more minutes and add you if you want to do a call in. If not, you want to put your comments in the comment section. We will read them off as we go along on DWE Radio. But welcome to DWE Radio. Please give me a follow. That's Miami the Great 305. My co-host, my beautiful co-host, is just sat down in the studio. The final boss, baby, 2B's, 1Y, CFO. Please give her a follow. Please follow us on Twitch. We're live right now on Twitch. That's DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. And we're live on YouTube. That's right. We're live on YouTube. Please give us a follow on you, a subscribe on YouTube. That's Talk It Up Podcast on YouTube. And also, please give our Talk It Up podcast page a follow too if you're live on that side on X. Thank you guys for joining us today. We're going to just get right into it. Before I start, let me make sure my co-host has a mic check. Are you ready? Mic check over there. Final boss, baby.
Yes, I am here.
Well, let's get into it. Let's talk about, and I brought up this topic, no masked man, because we did start off Raw with Seth Rollins and the masked man once again coming out doing the mask stuff,
Mhm.
and coming in the ring like they did last week, and but this time instead of us getting Adam Pierce, we got a shuffle. Not looking so good. Paul Heyman. I mean, this might have been the worst as he ever looked. As I know, we have seen him with the gray because Solo and the Jacob and all them had him looking like he had the gray and all looking like he was all bad and stuff. But this might have been the worst as
Yeah.
we seen Paul Heyman. He
Um,
really did sell the
um,
curse.
um, uh, to me, I, when you're gonna do something like that, and I give him credit because Paul Heyman, he does whatever it takes to kind of sell the character. And it was reported, well, actually about Paul
Mhm.
Heyman, that when he did the whole thing with the Bloodline 2.0, under Solo. he on purposely did not sleep to kind of give him that very disheveled, grungy look. And I assume he did the same thing here. But you did it before and it was great. And to do it again, it just doesn't hit the same because this was a different element, right? When we got the whole thing with him and the Bloodline 2.0, he looked disheveled because he wasn't sleeping, because he was stressed from Roman being gone because he lost the title. And now we had, Solo had this turn, him being this kind of like mafia style boss and, treating him really bad. And then he ultimately turned on Paul Heyman. But up until that point, he was treating Paul Heyman, you know, really bad, and Paul Heyman was kind of stuck because Roman was gone because he lost the title, so he was kind of like in this weird stressed out mode. That makes sense. Now to have him come out there looking like this now, why? Because it's not the same. It's not the same story. Then the new story is here is that hey, he was taken out by Seth Rollins, so you should have came out there with some kind of brace wheelchairs, bandaged up real bad. That would make sense. Your new character now is not stressed. What's your stress gonna be? Oh well, hey, I lost half the vision, and now I'm stressed that I have no group, and all I have left is really Brock Lesnar. Like is that what it is? No, he should have came out there being real beat up, really sell the whole beat down that rode him off for a while with Seth Rollins. I think that would have been more meaningful. I think this was just lazy. This was like a really lazy and in poor taste of him trying to make it look more real. Which granted, I know he did look this show as it should, but I don't think it fits this story. It doesn't fit this narrative, at least for me. It's
Well,
kind of a
I
hard take,
actually
but
like
that's how I feel.
well, for me, I did see the
Hmm.
bruises on his face. He did. It was not a lot of people, and I do agree with this, and I do have to give credit to Bust It Open. They did bring this to mind that he did have the bruises on his face. He did have um the like almost I would say like kind of like bloodshot look in his eyes a little bit to sell the curse stump, and it was something they was said that was kind of very true. You get people get beat down and you see them the next day, they don't show no kind of like injuries or nothing. So I do give him that. And hey, I was surprised Cody wasn't on SmackDown. We're definitely going to get in touch on SmackDown, so I give Cody his credit too, because Cody sold the beat down from Randy. He wasn't even there. He was so beat down that he wasn't there. So that old school feeling for me, final boss. With that, I do agree with you. I feel like maybe could have done more. Yes, but I think the whole thing was to set up, and we're going to talk about it here. Is Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. I think that's what this whole segment was, and the reason why I chose this topic of no more masked men. It seems like there's no point of doing it. It seems like we're not going to get no more people. No one's going to get added to Seth Group because, from what I'm understanding, maybe he's still injured because we understand that he's not probably going to have a match at WrestleMania. So I feel like now just Seth now doesn't need to probably come out now because now they're setting up over Femi and Brock Lesnar. And you got the Usos gonna probably go after um se- um uh Apollo not about to say Apollo Cruz, Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Um so that's definitely something that I could see them probably doing. So where does Seth fits now? I think they can keep Seth off for a while if he still is dealing with injury. We know um Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are not going to be back no time soon. Bronson Reed is still, they say he might come back a little sooner than he was at first. I can say that, but Braun Breaker, I haven't heard too many updates. They were saying, I did see a report saying that he might come before WrestleMania, but we don't know yet. I don't see where would they fit him in there. Maybe they'll probably do this match thing one more time, and maybe Breaker comes out of nowhere like he normally does and does the spear on Seth, and that's how you maybe can set it up. a match between him and Seth, but I don't think Seth is clear. I don't think Breaker will be back soon enough. So I think they will
By the way,
save
you're in and
those
out right now.
matches. Chef not serving no more purpose, and that's why I say I feel like we should do away with these masked men. We done what we done with it. We're saying that it was Seth Rollins. That's cool. Unless you're gonna make these guys be his henchmen or something like how you were saying last week on DWE Radio. That's the only way I would keep them. But so far, they got destroyed by Brock Lesnar final boss. I don't know if you caught that part, or they got really like tore apart from him, and then it was just Seth and Brock Lesnar in the ring before Oba Femi came out. So that's why I say maybe we should do away with them. I don't feel like there's no more purpose for them. What's your thought? Do some kind of angle with them as a group or something.
I mean, well, Miami, you're in and out. But I mean, this is the bad part of where we are because here we are about 4 or 5 weeks from WrestleMania, and we know now that it's likely gonna, it's likely gonna be Brock and Oba. And so where does that leave Seth Rollins? As you saw, the whole point of that, and no one cares about the masked man, but the whole point of it was they were kind of teasing the idea that it could be um, Seth and Brock, and then Oba Femi came out. We had that, real good takedown of Brock Lesnar by Oba Femi, him saying, "Put your foot on me," because I guess he really believes in Oba. He really wants to put him over. Um, but where does this leave Seth Rollins? Like, who is he going to have a match with? All of your main guys are tied up in other things. I mean, I guess if you really wanted to, you can do him and Logan Paul, but where does that leave Austin Theory? And even so, that wouldn't be a big match for someone like Seth Rollins. And it's unfortunate that here we are, where a few months ago we knew the direction. We kind of knew where we were going. We knew, Seth Rollins was out. We knew when he came back, which was going to be right around WrestleMania time. We had originally pitched around Royal Rumble, but but we kind of knew where we're going. We knew he was going to come back around at least right around WrestleMania, probably at WrestleMania, and was going to have a match against Braun Breaker from the Vision. And now here we are, where it's completely, off rail due to, due to injuries. Not one, but two. We have Reed and Breaker both out. So, and then the group kind of basically really fell apart. They ripped they written off Paul Heyman off for a couple weeks, kind of pushing away from the group and have him more focused on the Seth Rollins aspect, the Brock Lesnar aspect, and kind of moves them from the Vision aspect. But where does that leave Seth Rollins? What opponent is he gonna have? And I can't think of someone for him to face. I know we're gonna talk about this a little bit later, but I mean, they wanted Jelly Roll at WrestleMania because it's mainstream celebrity, but we kind of had to shove him somewhere. Same thing with Seth Rollins. Where are we gonna shove him at? Again, too. Unless you're gonna have maybe an open call, maybe he can do that. But who would you put Seth Rollins against at this point? Unless Seth Rollins doesn't have a match at WrestleMania, and the whole idea is for him to get involved with the Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi match, or maybe we'll have a triple threat, which I don't see why that does, but that doesn't make sense for me. Everyone really wants to see Oba versus Brock and have it be, a power match. And as we know, Seth Rollins, he's not a huge guy. So he'll be the third wheel in that match. So I mean, what can we do at this point? And I think Miami might have left and it's probably left and coming back out. Okay, he said he'll be back. But yeah, that's how I feel. Um, I just worry about Seth Rollins. Now, granted, we do have some time. It's today's the 21st. WrestleMania is in a few weeks, so anything can happen. But what match are we going to give Seth Rollins, Miami?
I I don't think we're gonna get one at all, Final Boss.
Really,
Just to
at
be honest with you,
WrestleMania.
because
Now,
yeah, because I
lazy,
did I did
interesting
see something
booking. They could
trending
put him in.
that
They could put him in there with the
was
CM Punk
saying that
issue.
I don't think I was saying that at first, but I don't think it needs it, Final Boss. I as much as we know the rival between Seth and Roman and Punk, he's not needed
They
for the
may
first
not
time
need
ever.
it.
I'm not saying Seth
They
is
may
not a
not need
star. It's
it,
just
but
story
I
doesn't
think
need him
But
with
I think
with Punk.
Seth needs it. Seth needs it because where are you going to put him? Where are you going to put him? We don't have anybody left for him to be at the same
Only
caliber.
it. Let's say if he is clear, and I think by now somebody would at least, even Brock maybe would at least did a move on him, and maybe they would have made Oba come out to save him. But by them doing it the way they did it, clear for one. Two, if he is cleared, there's no one but maybe Breaker, because Breaker did turn on him, but we don't know the status on Breaker either. So, and I
Well,
mean, it'll be
remember who
so
also doesn't
quick. I
have a
think it'd be a little
match?
rushed.
Remember who also, hey, Gunther don't have a match. Hmm?
Yeah, they were saying that. I mean, all the retirement that he done. Think about it. This guy's returned. He's retired. Your favorite Goldberg. He's retired. John Cena, who I ain't gonna lie, to this day I'm still probably ain't recovered from John Cena. AJ Styles might be still the one today that shocked me the most, because I was thinking that, okay, they're probably going to swerve, they're going to do something, and it still happened. I don't know. I don't even know who you do with Gunther. Could you do Seth and Gunther? Maybe, but they haven't crossed paths. You'll have to push that envelope as of Monday. Like maybe do some kind of angle where maybe Gunther runs into Seth and something happens and we get some kind of weird altercation where it sets up a match, maybe. But I don't think, and I'm thinking like as in storyline wise, it wouldn't make sense. Final Boss. That's just me, and my opinion. I don't know what
We
Gunther
have
fits.
about 4 weeks to make it make sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That one's saying by Monday they have to do that. They have to do your idea by Monday. You know what I'm saying? If they let's say if Seth is clear, if Seth do want to do at least a match, they'll have to do that like Monday. Final Boss. I feel like maybe Gunther says the same thing that Roman told Punk. You're getting old, and it seems like I'm gonna probably be retiring you too, and maybe do something like that. And they say, he says, "Oh, you think so?" And then they kind of, Seth is always a pride person anyway, because that's his character. And maybe they do something like that. Maybe I don't know. But I don't think they will come out and just say, "Well, okay, how did we get here?" Um, but like you said, they could make sense of it, because look what they're doing with Jacob and Drew. It seems like they hate each other so much that they gotta have a match at WrestleMania. We seen what happened last night on SmackDown. So you are correct, but they have to do something by Monday, Final Boss. If they don't do nothing by Monday, I that kind of really confirms that Seth is hurt. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my idea. I don't know what we, even if they do Seth and Breaker, we're still out there with what we're going to do with Gunther. And I don't think Gunther fits none of the stories that are going on right now. I think we pushed his career in there to such a point that now we think that everyone that Gunther faces has to retire. Yes, we did hear word that um Rey Mysterio could have been the person that he retired, but we know Rey Mysterio's been dealing with a lot of injuries lately. I do feel like Rey does need to call it quits. I did want Dominic to be the one to retire him, but if they was gonna go to Gunther direction, I think that would have put more heat on Gunther because I think fans would have wanted it to be dominant than Gunther. So if that was the direction they was gonna go, I would have liked it because it would have brought more heat to Gunther. But would it help them? I don't know. Final balls. I mean, right now, look at where we're at now. He's not gonna probably be on one of the biggest main events. I mean, main PLEs that WWE has to offer, and that's WrestleMania. You know, we have heard stories that people do anything to be on the card, at least to come out or just some kind of way. We heard the stories of people just even being people that were props, just being a WrestleMania and still making a moment. So that's just the thing I'm looking at it, Final Boss. If you ask me, but we're and that leads us to the like I said, Oba Femi versus Brock Lesnar. That will happen at WrestleMania because, like I said, Oba Femi did come out, and at first when the lights went out, I was like, "Oh man, the Undertaker finna come out here." I was thinking one of your moments. I was like, "Why?" At first, I thought something was going on with my Netflix. The lights went out, and Oba Femi music hit. He did get a good crowd reaction. Something else that I have to give bus opening up for is sort of they do the same chant as Goldberg because I know you do remember that chant where Goldberg used to come out. They used to be like Goldberg, Goldberg, and this sort of is the same thing when Oba come out. You hear the crowd be like Oba, Oba. So um he came out to a good crowd reaction. He really did well by picking up Brock Lesnar, dropping him down, stepping on his foot, pointing at him. I know a lot of people pointed out that he probably shed a tear, probably was sweat. I don't know, but he probably was emotional because Brock Lesnar. I mean, I know we know his background, we know what he's done, but just taking that out, it's just like how we say about Hogan, the Brock Lesnar career is one of the ones that you can't maybe duplicate. And I think people want Oba Femi to take that role of not just Brock Lesnar, maybe like a Goldberg type too. Um, when it's said and done. But this is one of the people, and I don't know if you knew this, Final Balls. Fun fact, I did learn that the age that Brock Lesnar is at and the age that Oba Femi's at is the same age that Brock Lesnar was the age of Oba Femi and Hulk Hogan was Brock Lesnar age in which they did take on each other, Brock Lesnar and Hogan. So they're about the same age where they are it's the roles are reversed now. So Oba's really starting over off as a I would say maybe a Brock Lesnar projecting. We knew how long it took the Brock Lesnar to get up because he did have Paul Heyman at his side. Oba Femi is by himself. So this is pretty good that he's by himself and he's starting off like this. Will he get someone down the line? Um, I don't think he should. I think he does really pretty decent on the mic as promos. If they do put him with someone, we'll see on down the line because I feel like there do need to be more managers. I feel like we only got maybe one or two out there. Um, Paul Heyman's is just the one male um manager we got so far I can think of on the main roster. But I did like I said, I did like him doing the choke slam on him. I did like the moment you seen Brock Lesnar get out and was kind of giving the shock, like he was shocked that he was manhandled like that. The only people we have seen him be manhandled like that is the Braun Strowmans, the Goldbergs, the big guys. Maybe like a I remember the time when he took on the Big Show and stuff like that. So you got people like that he tuck on, the big guys that he's tuck on, and Brock is just such a good seller that I feel like he will sell if he's selling for Oba Femi. That's a good thing. You always hear the stories from Seth Rollins and the Roman Reigns that, hey, you got Brock selling for you. He believes in you. You got to take the advantage of the moment and make something out of it. And I think that's where what happens here. Will it be a great match? I think so. I think it will be a great match. I think it will probably be a decent match. I'm very interested in seeing it. I want to see how it goes when it comes to Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar. But can't wait to see it. Final balls. If you have any thoughts about it, you can go. But if not, we will move on to our next topic.
You know, don't care, to be honest. I, for me, Oba versus Brock Lesnar for me is probably going to be one of my WrestleMania breaks. Um, on paper, it makes sense because you got two big, massive guys face to face, someone that can finally physically stand up to someone like Brock Lesnar, who's an absolute, I mean, he's the beast, the beast incarnate. But
Mm-hmm.
the way Oba has been booked, he's been booked to be incredibly strong, but he's booked to be incredibly strong against guys who, had no chance. Like, I don't want to say the other line of that because, that's the Vince McMahon line, but no chance in hell. But, he's, yeah, even though, he's booked strong, it's not booked to be a believable strong. Like, we know he's strong because of how he looks. No one's
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, "Oh, I know this guy is strong because of the matches he's had." We know he's strong based on his looks. That's it. So the whole idea of WWE is supposed to make you believe something and sell you on something. They haven't sold me on the fact that he's just this unstoppable powerhouse. The reason why I believe he's a powerhouse is because of how he looks. Now, for someone like me, great example, who doesn't watch NXT, who has not, who's heard of Oba Femi, heard he was very, very good, but has not seen his matches, you have to sell me on the fact that this guy is just so great. Because number one, let's be honest, he's a big guy. He has very, very wide shoulders, but is he the strongest guy looking physically? No, he's not. Ain't no six pack down there. Big guy, big guy, but isn't it? As far as aesthetics, no. If you look at old Femi, I mean, yeah, NXT champion, of course, he vacated to come to the main roster, but has he won any titles on the main roster yet? I mean, he just got here, but has he won any? No. Okay. Um, I mean, look at Brock Lesnar. He beat John Cena, on his retirement tour. And John Cena, will
Mm-hmm.
reputable guy to go. He beat John Cena. So I mean, hey, he also did what years ago? He broke the streak, Undertaker. So things like
Mm-hmm.
that on paper is like, hey, I believe, and even though Brock Lesnar is also a specimen big guy, they've also have put into our minds that this guy is powerful, he's strong, he has beat the best of the best. But with Ola Femi, like we can't see that. Only thing we know is that he has the look to be that guy. And if you watch TNA, it's not TNA. If you watch NXT, you would know that. But someone's watched NXT like myself, not sold on it. Now, I guess the idea though is for WrestleMania matches to officially sell people like me on, hey, this is your next brutal power force. And I give a lot of credit to Lesnar because it seems, like you said, that Lesnar really wants to pass the torch to Oba Femi as being the next big powerhouse. We can hear him.
Mm-hmm.
We can hear him on the audio. So I don't think we're supposed to hear that saying "Put your foot on me." So that shows you that he is really behind putting over Oba Femi on his way out, which is great. Um, but hey, we had a whole match between him and Almost, and how that turned out. Almost, nothing really came of it.
Well,
So
that was actually a decent match, Final Boss. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
know.
That was
I
maybe one
know,
of
but
Boss's
I
best
know, but what
matches.
happened to his career? But what happened to his career after that? It
Yeah,
wasn't
it
noteworthy.
didn't go nowhere. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah. I
thing.
do agree
Yeah,
with you.
it didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere because he had the look, but he wasn't really he was. he wasn't initially a wrestler, so there was limited things he could do, power moves that kind of didn't get over. There were limitations. Same thing, a similar idea of that was someone like Great Khali. Like me, I love the Great Khali, but the thing about him is that he wasn't really the definition of like a wrestler, but he was the definition of your traditional powerhouse where he'll have these really good power moves. And when he had that, I don't know what's the name of that move where he would basically
The one with it.
squash
Oh yeah,
your
I
skull
forget
with
the
one
name of it, but
hand.
yeah. I know what
Yeah.
you're
So
talking
if
about.
anybody
I forget the
knows,
name of
feel free to say it in the comments. But yeah, yeah. And he had all these, these pajama matches and
it.
things like that,
Yeah. I
but
used
he
to love
also
those.
moved. Yep. But he also what? You didn't see him do too many moves. He is a slow worker because he's like a big guy, but it worked because of his physique and the way he was presented in those matches. It did work for him, for the time being. Um,
Hmm.
so that, but almost was a little bit, it just never went nowhere. But yeah, I'm not sold yet. Now, granted, if they are able to go ahead and have it be a really good match at WrestleMania, put Oba Femi over, and then it kind of skyrockets. That's how you have someone like me now believe, hey, this is your next big guy. This is your next Brock Lesnar. This is your next Big Show. This is your next, your next real big powerhouse, which is what we need because we don't really have too many of those on a roster right now. I mean, who else do we really have? You can't say Braun Breaker because, but while Braun Breaker, yes, he's strong, but he's known for what? He's more so known for what? For speed, big
Hmm.
speed. We don't really have that power force anymore. And we won't have too many of them because they're kind of, scattered, right? Who else was really around when we had, the big show? We had bigger guys, but that was during the, steroid times. But, after the whole steroid scandal, people started saying you're going to see smaller guys. And we have, and we
Yeah.
also have seen a lot of big guys, but we haven't had someone to be put as that powerhouse guy in a long time.
Hmm.
Um, but there's someone else that's around, that could also be in that same category, Mr. Royce Keys. So when we start
Hmm.
seeing him on the main roster, him versus Oba Femi, those will be some good matches. That's who you'll start putting over against. You'll start putting him against the Braun Breakers, when he comes back. Those are the people you want to put over against. You don't want to put him against a real small guy because it's going to be just a squash match. It's good to get him built.
Hmm.
We've seen that with Oba this whole time, him having squash matches. Now, have a match with Brock Lesnar, have him come out really strong, really great. I assume probably have him win, and then we could start focusing on maybe him versus Brock, or Brock wants to move on to something else with his last few months left in the company or in his career. Fine. If not, then have him move on, have him start having actual matches with opponents that are in the same stature as him. Really put him over. Then throw a title on him, down the way, and let him be the big star that that he should be. But till then, right now, not interested. I'm probably one of the very few. I know a lot of people are excited for. People going absolutely crazy. Hell, Michael Cole went absolutely stupid on commentary.
Yeah.
But but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah. But for me, it didn't really sell me. And I also worry about Paul Heyman because Paul Heyman did say that he's never going to fully retire, and we know he's the advocate of Brock Lesnar. So I assume once Brock Lesnar leaves, which is speculated to be at SummerSlam because of the location, Minneapolis, um,
Hmm.
is I assume you have Paul Heyman to go back to the division, go back to maybe Roman. I believe really Roman. Or do some things with Punk or with Seth, but I believe he'd probably go back to Roman. Um, so there's that little element in there as well, and it all kind of ties into everything because we'll get into this later, but we know about the story where it's going with Roman, how we kind of picking things back up like how it used to be. So now think about this one tidbit now. Brock Lesnar is retired, or bringing back old things, bringing back the bloodline. So eventually we'll have what? we'll have Paul Heyman go back to being a wise man again. So we'll kind of circle back around. So everything now kind of makes sense. We're looking at, oh, the Bloodline coming back, but now with Brock Lesnar going, where does that put Paul Heyman? Yeah, he has a vision right now, but I believe as soon as as soon as Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed are both back, they'll probably have him come back either for a short period of time and then have this really big turn and then break the vision up. And I could see Paul Heyman do something, with Braun Breaker, in particular. But if not, the circle's going back around and do things again with Roman Reigns. So I think this is a good time for Brock to, look into his retirement. I'm really hoping that they book him great. And when I mean great, it doesn't mean always winning. It could mean also putting over Oba Femi. We have him at least until SummerSlam. So, I'm excited. Now, does that mean that we're gonna have Gunther retire Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam? Don't know. But the way it's going, here's a swerve. Nope, and not swerve. It's not swerve. Is hey, maybe Oba doesn't win at WrestleMania. Maybe Brock Lesnar wins at WrestleMania, and we have a
Really?
rematch at SummerSlam, and then Oba wins
Mm.
then, and then that's the last match. Because who is he putting over on his way out on SummerSlam? It doesn't make sense for him to lose now and
I,
then do
I
some more
like that, but
months.
I think it will hurt
Yeah,
over at Mania though, because of
but
all the things
but
you said before then.
true, but I think he'll put him more over as a next guy if Brock Lesnar's last match is with Oba and he wins on top of that, because okay, what he's gonna win against Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar just moves on and just does whatever, and then forgets about Oba Femi, and oh, that's gone. I mean, I would think the idea would be for him to beat him on his last match on the way out, put him over, pass that torch. Because
Well,
remember, when the streak was broken, we thought Taker was going to retire at first, because
yeah,
he
yeah.
left. Remember, he left his gloves and his hat and his jacket in the rain. We didn't know what was
Mhm.
going to happen, and then well, he didn't leave, but that's what we thought. So what? So I assume when Oba beats Brock Lesnar, if he beats him at Mania, well, we're gonna assume that Brock is done. Well, we know that's not true. We know
No,
that he's leaving around SummerSlam. So then what? So then what for Brock?
well, this is the point I was about to get ready to make, and I don't know if you remember this.
Hmm.
I know you're a big Goldberg fan, but do you remember Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg at WrestleMania for the Universal title, and Brock Lesnar beat Goldberg? Did that hurt Goldberg? Yes or no?
No, but a lot of people weren't
But
behind
Goldberg,
a lot.
but
But this is a different element though. So you're talking about hurting
mhm,
someone as far as booking. That I get, but this is a
mhm,
different
mhm,
element.
mhm,
We all knew that it was that the idea, well, we all knew that damn Goldberg wasn't going to be your damn next guy. We knew this was going to be just a guy who was just here to, catch a title one more time
mhm.
for his retirement. So it's a different thing. Like, it's not the same. It's not like he's passing the torch to damn Goldberg. So it's a different element now.
Well. I don't know if you remember, but that was the same year when Goldberg beat Brock. Like it was like a record fasting time or something. I think it
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
in
yeah.
minutes or
He
seconds
did
or
hope
something. It
to,
was like
yeah,
real quick. Remember that? Yeah.
yeah,
And then
yeah. It was like
yeah,
13
then he
seconds or something
won the
like
title
that. Yeah.
from yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he won the
Mm-hmm.
title. Then he won the
Jackhammer.
title from
Yep.
KO, which was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when they did this match between him and Brock, which was a pretty decent match. Um, but like I say, I look at it as I want Oba to go ahead and beat him because I ain't gonna lie, Funny Balls. If they do it again, I would think that if they're not gonna use Gunther because it seems like they're moving away from this career killer thing. If they want to run it back, I think they'll do it the same thing how they did with Brock Lesnar and Goldberg was like,
But
okay, can you beat him
but
again?
here's but here's a problem though. Oba beats Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, and then what?
Mhm.
What is Oba gonna do? Because he already done ran through everyone,
That's when that's
everyone else does. Now,
that's when you
granted,
got to bring in Roy's Keys. You got Roy's Keys there. Why we're not using them? Come on, WWE. He's there. He's a big guy. He fits that stature. Matter of fact, he looks kind of a little better than
he
Oba Femi.
does.
That's me.
He does, but they also got to do a point where they have to build him up to be that believable star to the audience who has no idea who Powerhouse Hobbs, formerly known as Powerhouse Hobbs, now known as Royce Keys is. So now they have to spend their time to build him up, to have him be this believable force against someone like Oba Femi to help create an Oba Femi. So this is where we are again now. For me, it's the placement of superstars right now. I think the best booking decision for me would be Rock versus Oba at WrestleMania. Have Oba Femi lose. It'll have Brock Lesnar have his last win at his last freaking Mania, then had the rematch between him and Oba at SummerSlam, have Oba win, and that's officially your passing of the torch. It's the end of the era of Brock Lesnar. It's the end of the Beast Incarnate, and then that's it. And then he's gone because now he'll be known as what? As a guy who beat Brock Lesnar at his last match and passed the torch. Now, if he beats Brock Lesnar, okay, well, great, you were the guy who beat him at WrestleMania, but hey, the guy's still fighting, and he still have matches. So I mean,
Well, I don't look at this as like because many guys have been beat. John Cena's been beat at fucking WrestleMania and he still was going. I mean, look who beat John Cena. You had Austin Theory beat him at WrestleMania. You had Solo beat him at WrestleMania, and still they're doing that for him. But I don't think by someone being beat by WrestleMania doesn't mean that okay they're done. I don't look at it like that. I just feel like it's putting the next guy over. And you can probably, I mean, there's I know what you're saying. There's not a lot of stars, but even if you wait out the SummerSlam, you still got that question of okay, what's next? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That question still lingers there for me. So,
yeah,
like I said,
but I
I feel like
think
this will push him to the next level.
for me, this is my last point. It's now at five, but my whole thing is, hey, if he beats him at WrestleMania, and then
Hmm.
Brock goes on to have other matches, ultimately goes on to have other matches. Well, one, you can't book Oba Femi's losing any more matches, in between because hey, he done beat the biggest guy. So him losing to anybody else undermines everything he just did. That's one. Two, I think the person that has Brock Lesnar's last match is going to be the one that's going to be remembered. That's what you're gonna remember. You're not gonna remember, oh well, remember, WrestleMania 42 when Oba beat Brock Lesnar. No, they're gonna remember Brock Lesnar, on the way out, which is, the way WWE is booking, they're booking stars to lose the last match. So people are
Yeah,
gonna remember that more so, and that won't belong to Oba anymore. So it
that was
undermines the character.
thank you, Z. It was the vice grip. I was like, yeah, that's
Oh,
what's
is
his
that
name
what
on
it
the.
was called? I thought it was called
Yeah,
something
that's
else
what it was
more
called.
cool. You
No,
sure?
no.
How positive
Yes,
is you?
yes. Z
Really?
Z Z is 100% because
No,
I remember because
I thought it had something
yes,
to do with Punjabi
no,
something. Punjabi grip.
no,
Punjabi.
no. The vice grip.
Yeah.
He is 100% correct. I remember
Uh,
that because
oh.
when he put his hand on him, they used to say he got the vice grip on him. I remember that. So thank
Oh,
you, Z. I
so
did not
it's
think
not
what was over.
it's not the
Mm-mm.
Punjabi death grip skull crusher
No. I think
thing.
you're talking about.
No.
I think you're talking about the chop because I think the chop was the
Yeah,
Punjabi
the
chop
chop.
or something like
Hey,
that.
hold
I think
on,
you're thinking about that one. I'm thinking that's the name of it. I
shout
could
out
be
to the
wrong,
Miz
but
because
I know
the Miz has the skull crushing finale, but no, uh,
but yeah, Z was 100% correct. Also, he had said that yes, the company is very high on Over Femi, and he could possibly be the next powerhouse. Not powerhouse hard, but powerhouse. I do agree with you on that, Z. But yeah, he's right. He's 100% correct. Final Boss. It was the Vice Girl. 'Cause I was like, yeah, that was the name of it. Because I remember him doing the with his hands on that. I remember one person he made bleed out of the mouth and stuff. It was crazy. Crazy gimmick, crazy times, man. Attitude Era. But hey, that's what we was at.
Mm.
But
The
next,
Punjabi prison.
yeah, well, that was the match, that prison thing. That was that like the
Yeah,
one that
yeah,
had
yeah,
like
yeah. Where they
all
made
the
it with the
wood and
whole
stuff.
bamboo.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. Bamboo and the wood stuff. So that was the match.
Hmm.
I know what you think about, but yeah. But yeah, we'll see what's going to go on with that. But I think the next topic will be and I know you said you didn't want to discuss this before we get to our first caller of the day, because we have a caller on hold. We will get to you, caller. We're going to be right with you, but we're going to knock out Raw and see what's your thoughts about Raw, and then we'll get into SmackDown. Hopefully, we get another caller for SmackDown, but we have our first caller, so please bear with us, caller. It says, what was our thoughts about Bayley and AJ Lee? AJ Lee and Bayley, I know you don't know, Final Boss. I know they have tuck on each other back in NXT back when Bayley was first starting. AJ Lee did want this match with Bayley. It wasn't a bad match. It was a decent match, but it did set up where Becky came out and attacked AJ Lee, and I'm guessing we're getting Becky Lynch and AJ Lee again for WrestleMania. Why? I don't know, but if we are Final Boss, I'm not gonna lie. I think AJ Lee beats her again. I think the story is AJ Lee because Becky has said she's the best wrestler in ESPN, this and this and that. But I think the story behind Becky and AJ Lee is she has Becky's number. I know they got some stuff going on with Becky and the ref. Even if the ref is there, it might do be some stuff that happens weird there. But I think even with the ref there, I think the story still with AJ Lee is that she has one up on Becky every time she faces her. But I did like this match. It was a decent match. It was her first defense Final Boss. We know she didn't wrestle a lot. We knew she had took a lot of time out before we got even to the match between her and Becky Lynch at um um Elimination Chamber. But I do like that now we're seeing AJ Lee more, a little bit more. I think we'll probably see her a lot more now until up to WrestleMania, because I know they probably want to sell tickets and get people to come and fans to come and probably just try to really sell the WrestleMania as much as they can. We know they went down on some of the ticket prices, but I did like the
Yeah,
match. It
yeah.
was a decent
Right now,
match.
cheapest ticket is right around 200 something
Yeah,
dollars.
I
So
heard.
around 260, I believe.
I heard, yeah. So that's crazy. But other than that, I did. It was a decent match, not a bad match. Final Boss. You have any thoughts about the AJ Lee and Bayley? If not, we'll move on to the Maxxine Dupri and Vision stuff.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good match for a standard TV match. Um, I like the beat down with her and then Becky. We been knew there was gonna be a rematch at WrestleMania between Becky and AJ Lee. Of course, you want to have AJ Lee do the very famous skip around the ring, and she's gonna have a really long skip down that really long entrance ramp for WrestleMania. But I'm pretty sure the crowd will go absolutely wild. The crowd's actually pretty hyped for AJ Lee on Monday, even though she was, there was a lot of fatigue with AJ Lee recently, but I think Monday people were actually really excited to see her. So that's great. I think for AJ Lee, and we're officially in Mania season. I think AJ Lee loses at WrestleMania. And I think, she can be the girl that's gonna try to get every single title on her way out, because like she said in one of her promos, when she was around there was only one title, one sparkly butterfly title, and that was the Divas Championship. Now we have all these titles you can go for. Tag team championship, we have the women's champion, we had the women's championship, we have the IC, which she is, and then also have United States. So she has all these titles you can go for now, and I think it'll be great for her to have a chance to at least, have a run, even if it's a short run with each of those titles. That way, when she is officially done, you know, she can say that she officially, has all held titles, and she's, well, I can't even say Grand Slam because she didn't have the women's one. They had the Divas when she was around, but at least you have a chance to, get all the current titles. I think that's where they should go with her. Um, and say she can still go, but she can still go and get all the titles and kind of run through that. Um, and I think her next eye should be on the women's championship. Now it doesn't have to come right away. But I think that should be what she's eyeing next now, because Becky has did a really good job of elevating the IC championship. Because a lot of people like to forget, like, hey, this is actually an IC championship. It's not just a second women's title. It's the IC championship, which is, a lower card champion, a lower card title. But because it's Becky Lynch, because she's elevated that title so much, like Ric Flair, the man, Becky Lynch is the man, makes the titles make the man. And I think she's a good example of that. Because it's a variable title because of the work that she has put, during her reign. Um, and so with that being said, want to see AJ do some other stuff, have some other matches. I would like to see her and Stephanie, have a match. Um, Now I don't know if Stephanie's still going to be champion. I really think they're going to have it on, on Liv. But I love to see her and Liv as well. Maybe she beats Liv. I don't know. So there's a lot of people, we can go with AJ Lee, if she's available, depending how booking goes. But yeah, as far as for Bayley, Bayley's kind of been really kind of, in the background, kind of coming and going as far as booking wise. So I don't know where we go from here with her, but um, yeah, that's my whole feelings on that. I don't know if we're gonna get a follow up next week with Becky and AJ. After that beat down, because I don't know if they're gonna have AJ on the next Raw, but if there is, I want to see some more beat downs. I definitely don't want to see a promo again with those two. But uh, I say, you know, hold AJ off TV for another week, maybe two, and then have her come back and do a beat down with Becky Lynch ahead of Mania, and then we'll have that one really good week of build, and then there's Mania, and then that's it. I think that's where we are. I don't think we need to have a long, drawn out um feud between her and Becky. Again, we already seen that. Just have another beat down, and then we go right into WrestleMania.
Yeah, even Michael Cole said the same thing. We've been saying that AJ Lee did want to go for the other titles on WWE, so that did stick out to me. So I was like, huh. When they said that, I was like, yeah, well, either they listen to DWE, but they got the same thoughts as you had, Final Boss, because they did bring that up on commentary. But yeah, that's all for now. We'll see. Like you said, it might was a beat down and one off, and they might do Becky Lynch might do a promo and maybe challenge AJ Lee to a WrestleMania match, and that's how we get the match. We don't know. We'll have to see on Monday, because I don't think I seen AJ be advertised for this money, but pretty much we'll probably get Becky Lynch, but we will have to see. But let's move on to the next topic, which is Maxxine Dupri. Maxxine Dupri did take on Natty this Monday, Final Boss. She lost, and at first I was like, huh, what's next for Maxxine Dupri? Because it was just like, one and done. But if I think I forget who was doing I think it was, oh yeah, it was Bayley and Live Rakir. They was talking about the tag team titles, and in the background you can see Austin Theory and Logan Paul. You saw Austin Theory talking to Maxxine Dupri, and I was just wondering, because I know a lot of people have been wanting Paul Heyman to have his first Paul Heyman girl, and I was like, well, man, wonder if Maxxine Dupri is the first Paul Heyman girl, and then two, wonder if she's turning heel, Final Boss, because I feel like we might be getting a face turn, because Maxine has been that baby face for the women. I think she may be the only one I can think of out of Stephanie Vaquer, because I know Stephanie's a face. We got Rhea being a baby face, but outside of that, I can't really think of none at the top of my head. But I think we're gonna get a heel Maxxine Dupri, and she might join the division and become the first Paul Heyman girl final boss. What are your thoughts on that about Maxxine Dupri? Would you think a character change will help her a little bit more, and be with her being with Paul Heyman without her being doing the promos? Will Paul Heyman help her with trying to elevate her career? What's your thoughts on that? Do you think that's the direction WWE will go, or do you think that this just was a one done thing?
Um, can they go somewhere with that? Yes. But remember, we weren't too sold on, her whole thing with being in dungeon with Natty. Like that, it didn't sell. She did really great in the ring, but she didn't come off as believable as being the super power force, even though she did look great in that match against Becky. It didn't come off as her being any stronger than what she already was. Even though her ring work, clearly has elevated, it didn't come off as a new character. So we will really be trying this again and kind of see if it works. And then if we do this, man, the idea of it sounds great. Having a female in the vision, especially now that that division has um men on the shelf. Um, like and hell, even damn Seth Rollins said, I don't care if you're on the shelf, I'm still gonna take out the vision, even though people going on the shelf, which is crazy. But
He did say that.
yeah, yeah, which is crazy. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it has to stick this time. It didn't stick with her and Natalia, probably because we didn't see Natalia on TV. It was kind of like in the background with promos and vignettes. But we would have to see it actually work this time. Have to see actually stick with her being a more elevated character. In this case, on the vision, be a heelish character. If not, if it doesn't stick, then here we go. Jobbers with, oh well, I won't say jobbers, mid carders with Paul Heyman, and they just added to it by adding a mid card lady into the group. But just be so now we're officially just male mid carders, female mid carders with Paul Heyman.
Yeah, yeah. We'll,
So
we'll,
I mean, so
we'll,
there's that. So they
we'll
will have to
definitely have to
really have
see.
that stick.
Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, I feel you on that. Yeah, we'll have to see if it goes. I feel like it could be some potential there. I think um I think the thing with Natty, like you said, it was just not her being there, and it just came out of nowhere. Even though they did explain why she turned, they did it on X. They should have did it on WWE, which I did like was the reason why she did do the turn. But I wish they, like I said, I wish they would have did it on TV so people would have understand why Natty did the turn. But we'll definitely have to see where if they're going to follow up on it. That's something that we said last year at our end of the year. A thing that there was a lot of not follow ups on a lot of stories. It seems like they're doing more follow ups than they did last year, so that's a good thing. So we are in the right direction and step now. And I do, like I said, I do like the little things that now we got to go back to paying attention on what's going on in the background. That's something that I used to love back in the day, Final Boss. That's one thing I did like, and now we're back at it. I know I was just a big fan of it. I don't know if you are, but other than that, we will move
Yeah, I
on.
remember you being a big fan. You were a big fan of them having showing the trucks with the faces on. They're like, oh
Yeah,
my God, this
yeah,
person's gonna be
yeah.
at WrestleMania.
Yeah. I mean, because it led to that. Now I'm wondering. That's
Hmm.
what made it so fun, and I'm hoping that we're getting back to that Final Boss. Because if we are, which we did see, which we're going to get to on SmackDown.
But if they don't do it, you know what's gonna be the argument. If we start seeing the trucks again with faces on there, we don't want to see these faces at WrestleMania. They'll
Well,
just
they
come out well.
yeah, well they haven't been doing that.
It'll
Yeah,
well, that's because we're not there yet because it's far out. But when we start seeing those trucks, we start seeing faces on there, and they're not at WrestleMania. Then they'll come out well. That was not actually an Easter egg or a tease. That was
Yeah,
because they
yeah,
haven't updated their trucks again. So sorry, that costs money. Y'all didn't buy these
yeah,
tickets.
yeah.
Can't get new trucks. Either we gonna use these old trucks or you want us to use like U-Hauls and shit. So um, yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see. But other than that, let's get to our next topic, which is I think a topic that the whole IWC was asking Final Boss. What was one of the most things we did see Randy Orton. He was on Raw Final Boss, which was kind of interesting to me because I was like, why is Randy on Raw? And we seen Randy. He was on the phone before he started cutting his promo, cut his promo and said at the end of the promo, which caught my interest, was he said that wrestling has more than one royal family. And I was like, huh. And I don't know if you've seen Final Boss. WWE did put out some people that the IWC could think who it is. And I'm just gonna go down the list. Number one was Cowboy Bob Orton, who's Randy's dad. Number two is your husband, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Number three is Ric Flair. Number four was KO. And number five, I don't know why they put Randy Orton. Why would he be on the phone with himself? But I don't know. But that was like number five. Now they do have wild card picks. I know you remember those wild card days. The number one pick for the wild card is Rikishi.
Yeah, I remember not so long ago when Miami was a wild card.
Well, they got wild card
Yeah.
picks. They got some wild card
Shouts out
picks.
to old school. Shouts out to, old school days of Yeet Thursdays.
They got some wild card picks. They said Rikishi was number one, Haku was number two, number three was Batista. I do like that. I did. Number four was John Cena. I know it's not gonna be John Cena. And number five was Pat McAfee. Everyone that's
Well,
on
it ain't
this
gonna be Pat
list could be
McAfee.
a possible.
Pat McAfee is done with WWE, so.
Yeah, well, we know that. But I
Mhm.
really say the person that it's a lot of people that can go. I think the first one, I think you can do Bob Orton because Randy did say there's wrestling has more the Royal One family. You could do Ric Flair.
Mhm.
I think that's could be a good guess. KO is a good guess because we know what happened with KO
Mhm.
and Cody because we know what the feud they had and how KO felt about Cody. You could go that direction, but I was telling you, and you was like, no, Raw could be and we can kind of kind of go into some of the SmackDown stuff, but he was like, I was like, Saturday, he said, I'm gonna fix it when he was on the phone. And I was like, well, okay, well, that kind of brings me back to what Rock said that Triple H is doing something.
Man, you
And
digging.
you was like,
You
nah,
digging
because you
now.
was like, Miami, you digging. So I was like, well, and but I just think about it
Absolute crazy.
with everything that went on because he did say in the ring on SmackDown he kept saying legacy, 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 and we know what happened with Ted DiBiase Jr. With his case, he was not found guilty. I think it's Ted DiBiase Jr. So you might could be right, Final Boss. They might just
Well,
go
he was acquitted of all
acquitted,
charges.
yeah, acquitted.
Mhm.
So I just think it's just that Final Boss. I think it could be and that's one of the names
Well,
that's not on the list, but that could be
hey,
it.
I've been saying that. I
Yeah,
said
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah, yeah.
last
You did.
DW radio.
Mm-hmm.
But who knew that we were going to get this acquittal though? Who knew? So it's just funny how
I
they're
don't think
kind of
nobody.
planting them seeds, and now we find out that he's been acquitted of all charges. So to me, that's kind of interesting. I don't know if WWE knew that, long before we did, and was already setting them seeds in stone, or maybe they heard word that it may go that way. Because most of the time, hey, when you're in court, you have a lawyer, you kind of know which way it's gonna go most of the time, um, when before you go up there. Now his case, he didn't take a plea deal; he was actually acquitted. So it's kind of like I don't know what's gonna happen at the end, but Les WWE was kind of hoping for this, for some seeds out there. But if it would have went left and it did not go that way because of how this has been set up, It's not going to make the fans be, oh, we thought it was this, and now you're changing it because of XYZ. No, we can kind of build it to be where it's somebody else, and we will have no idea this was the original plan. So it actually is very smart because it's not really hinting at who it really could be. They can change it, and we would just never know, none the wiser, which is again very, very smart. WB has learned we can't put things out in stone because things happen, there's injuries, all this stuff, different things may happen. So this is a safe way to have us build to WrestleMania where we don't know where it's going. We don't know we don't know who's coming out. And I believe that it could be, Ted DiBiase because, we know about Legacy. Uh, we know the past between him and Randy Orton. And of course Cody Rhodes is a very, very key part of that. Because remember, the leader of Legacy was actually Cody Rhodes. So the fact that we have Randy and Cody now having a match together, not Drew, him and Cody, and this guy, Ted DiBiase, or Junior. Shouts out to, the $1 Million Man. But we have someone that has history with them both. We could have Ted DiBiase come out there, and of course it's turn on one. Is he going to turn on Randy? Is he going to turn on Cody Rhodes? Really, really love that whole idea. And as we know, the idea of Legacy was these were his next generation stars. Of course, Randy had, of course, his dad, and then the late great Bob Orton, well, Cowboy Bob Orton. So third generation superstar. We also had the same thing with Cody Rhodes, as we know. We had Dustin Rhodes, and then, of course, him with Ted DiBiase. Of course, we had the $1 Million Man. So the idea of Legacy was to carry on the legacy of, their parents. And this is the new regime. So we know if he's saying more than one royal family, which is what Randy said on the phone, we know that Ted meets that criteria on paper about being another generation superstar. So it kind of makes sense. But really, really for me, it's only two answers. Either he's talking to his dad because his dad is still alive, or he's talking to Ted DiBiase because who else has another royal family? Maybe Ric Flair, but think about who's in Ric Flair's family. It's Charlotte Flair, so it's not someone he can actually, have a match, have some kind of thing with, unless they're gonna add a female to it. But of course, we know the history between him and Ric Flair. So there's a lot of pieces we can do, but I feel like we're leaning towards Ted DiBiase. And if that is the case, I can only imagine how absolutely bonkers and stupid the crowd is gonna go when he comes out there. I say come out to the Legacy music, one of my favorite songs.
Oh,
Could you
Lord.
imagine it hit and you hear it? It's a new day. It's a new day. Yes. The crowd is gonna go absolutely stupid.
Let me tell y'all a little secret, y'all.
Oh, jeez.
The Legacy intro, y'all. That she loves it. I think she's a big fan of the Legacy, so I don't know why. I can't even remember it. I just know who was in the group, but I don't remember.
You don't remember when Cody and Ted was tag team champions?
Man, I remember that. I remember the run, but the music was just not it for me. Final Boss. It was just the music.
Oh my gosh!
I'm not saying the run was bad.
Well, you do remember the first persons to beat your favorite, the Shield, was who?
Well, it was Well, I thought it was. I thought it was Cody and his dad. Cody and his brother, wasn't it? I thought it was
Legacy.
Wrong? Was it Legacy?
I thought it was Legacy.
I remember it was Cody and somebody, but I always thought it was his brother. I thought it was him and his brother. So I know it was Cody and somebody. So I do. I'm not saying that run. Like I say, that run was not a bad run. It's just the music wasn't decent. But hey, these days, who music is good nowadays? So I mean, there's that. But yeah, we'll see if there. I mean, maybe he's recreating the legacy again because that was one of our topics. But we'll have to see. But other than that, let's get to our next topic, which is the Punk and Roman Reigns promo. The promo that I think a lot of people was suspected to be good. It is sort of good. But I think the part that really got me fun
My
most, I
whole thing
think
is
got
too is that
everybody
you
talking.
maybe the thing about it is that I remember them facing the Shield. I can't remember if it was Legacy who beat the Shield or if it was when it was Goldust and Stardust who beat the Shield.
I thought it was. Maybe I could be
It,
wrong,
it
but I
may
thought it
be.
was. I
It
thought it
may
was
have been. It
Stardust
may have
and
been. It may
Gold.
have been when he was doing
I could be
Stardust
wrong
with the
because
Gold Dust. But
I
I
remember
definitely remember Shield
I remember
and Lacey
for
had a
some reason.
match for
Yeah, yeah.
2019.
For some reason, I'm picturing Dusty in my mind being there when they won the titles, and that's when they did that whole authority storyline because Dusty, it was Dusty, Goldust, and Cody going against the authority back then for some reason. Maybe all those happened at different times, but I'm pretty sure all of them happened at around the same time. But I'm thinking of this for some reason. I'm thinking in my mind. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking that it was him and Goldust. But I could be wrong.
It
I
might
could
have
be
been
wrong.
because
For
remember
some
right
reason
around
I'm
that
thinking
time
that.
is when we got Stardust and Goldust, which
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
again
yeah,
liked.
yeah.
I like that. I know a lot of people don't like the Stardust. I did. I thought he did a
Oh,
really. Hey, I thought he was really good as that character. I thought it really was. Now I didn't like his
you
backstage
trolling now.
antics, but hey, but no, I did. No, I
You
really did.
trolling now.
I nope. I'm not trolling this time. When I'm trolling, man, you know you'll be rolling. But yeah, but it, but but no, I did like him as Goldust. I didn't like his backstage like weird interactions, but
Troller.
I did like but I did like when he came out and he had the star, in between his hands and he'll stand up on like the barricade and do the whole thing. I used to like it. So hey, that's just me. But hey, I liked
I
it.
think I think
I
Hell did beat him too. I remember Team Hell No beating the Shield, but I think I for some reason it was Cody and somebody else that beat the Shield too, but I can't think of who was his partner. For some reason, I'm thinking it was his brother. It could be in somebody in Legacy too, but I don't know what tag team.
There was well, to be honest, there was only very few people who who he worked with, and that was
Yeah,
Legacy,
yeah,
and of course with yeah,
yeah, his brother. So
yeah,
it was one of
yeah.
those two. I could be wrong, but
Well, you might be
I don't
right
know if the
because
Shield was a tag
remember
team, but
him
I remember them facing.
and stop saying his brother. It's freaking Goldust, by the way.
What is the
But
brother?
yeah,
That's his brother though.
well, stop. Well, yeah, you're undermining Goldust when you say that, just so you know. But
How's
you're
that?
all
He a
pissed off.
Rose, ain't he? How's that
Stop pissing
how
off
that
us, damn
hold up.
fucking
Hold up.
Goldust
We
fans out here.
undermining
You're
Goldust
pissing us
the
off. You're
versus
pissing us
Cody
off. You're pissing
Rhodes,
us
who's
off.
supposed to
You're
be
pissing us
going
off.
to back to
You're
back
pissing us off.
WrestleMania 3 times.
That man should be in the Hall of Fame. He
Well,
should be.
yeah, but he's not gonna come back to WWE, so that can't
I
happen.
know,
We know
but I
that.
do believe when he does
Look,
100% retire, I
Even the
do
Rock
believe he'll do
slipped up.
something.
Even the Rock slipped up and said that.
Yeah, he
Even the
slipped
Rock
up. I
slipped up
remember
and
that.
said that
He said,
Goldust
"Your
was in
Hall of
the Hall
Fame.
of
I mean, a
Fame.
future Hall of Famer." Yeah, his
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
I
yeah,
do remember he
yeah.
slipped. He
Because even
slipped.
Rock was like, your brother need to be in there, but we know that can't happen because he with AEW. And he ain't gonna leave that place. But I mean, yeah, I don't want to say Goldust. I don't put him on a minor because we know how great Goldust. I mean, come on, I was a Goldust fan back in the day when he came out with the little yellow stuff, sparkly little stuff, and all that. Man, I used to
Yes,
love tracking between
the you
Goldust and
mean
Goldust and Booker T and
it
stuff.
wasn't yellow. It wasn't yellow. It was gold and black. So let's go ahead and move
Well,
on to piss these fans
go
off.
yellow, go
Okay, so
yellow,
next topic. Like
go yellow. It
Jesus
say
Christ,
it's
you're
the
gonna get us
same
canceled.
colors. But anyway, we're
Jesus
gonna get
Lord.
to
Gold
the
and
last.
yellow is the same. Hold on. Gold and yellow is the same color. So you mean if you buy somebody a damn a ring and it's yellow and not gold, is it still real?
Hey, no. They
So
told me at the place it was yellow for a reason, so I gave it to you. Is you
man,
happy or
hey,
not?
hey, hey,
Yes
hey,
or
I
no?
kind of like that. Hey, I kind of, oh Lord, you happy or not? But hey, but I kind of like that, man. Hey, I don't pee yellow, man. I piss gold, bro. Fuck, I love
Exactly.
it, man. I love it,
See.
man.
Shouts out to all the men now. See, I was gay y'all stuff. See, thank you, man, for the great. You
Man,
welcome. But
man.
I was gonna say that this promo, it was probably a decent promo, Final Boss. But the only thing I had a problem with was the thing that ticked off Final CM Punk was Roman calling him old, and I was like, well, that was it. That was the thing that got Punk because Roman
Oh, here
didn't
we
say
go. Wait a
nothing. He
minute
said,
now. Wait a minute. Before we get there, you might want to get to our caller because you're sounding like we're on our last Raw, or we're gonna call it after we're done with Raw.
oh, we can get to the caller right after Raw because we still got SmackDown Final Boss.
Okay.
We don't got to do
Okay. Well,
callers.
you might want to kind of walk us through what happened on SmackDown. You want me to go ahead and do it because
On
man, I'm so
SmackDown
excited.
or you on Raw?
He already went to Raw because he already on went to the fact that he called he Roman called CM Punk. Oh, that was the last
Yes,
sentence.
because
So
that's the part that really got me wondering. Like, is that
well,
what
hold
got you
on.
to
There
hit
was
him?
other pieces to that, that was actually a lot better. One thing that Roman talked about, he talked about how he's a star of the show, the middle of the show, and the ending of the show. We got, of course, Roman pulling up in like a black, I believe it was a BMW. We got that. You got his nice entrance of that, him walking in the back. We got this really great middle segment um, between him and the Usos, where it's him and the Usos in the back, just like really old times. You have Jay kind of still being kind of hyped up and mad, saying still like about CM Punk still didn't apologize to him. You had Roman cut this really, really real line which talks about, you could say a lot of things about me and call me a part time, but one thing they can't say is that I'm a part time dad. So that was a really good line. And I think it kind of really reinforces us as fans. And I think it's a setup for what is to come because I have a really good feeling that Roman is going to come out victorious. Not victorious show. Love that show. But anyway, and love also the actress Victoria. Love your songs. You're a great artist. Shouts out to her if you're listening here on Spotify. Um, but um, but I think it's an idea to pay the way to the fans, like, hey, he's still gonna be a part timer with the championship. Not because he's missed all this money, not because he thinks he's better in the business, not because he doesn't care, or not because he's not physically, capable of doing so because of, illnesses, which he of course has leukemia. But it's because he also is a dad and he loves his wife and loves his family, loves his children. And I think that is there to also put it in the fans' head that hey, I'm not here not just because I don't want to be here, it's because I have a family first. Um, so I really enjoyed that. Um, of course, we had the whole thing with them in LA Knight saying, "Oh, you're not gonna bring back the old bloodline again." So we got that line with him and the Usos. So I thought all that stuff was really really great. Love Roman comes out, says the city, says acknowledge me, have which I also do like. Has CM Punk come out and say it's a great day to be alive, live and enter your state here. And I love the fact that CM Punk is doing it because it also reminds me of something that we don't get a chance to see anymore and probably won't ever again. And that was when Big E was with the New Day and would say, you know, and then
Yeah,
he'll say,
yeah.
the
Then
city.
he
So
say, yeah,
I like it
yeah.
when it says that it's a cheap, easy, guarantee pop anywhere you go, because if you go to the show, which I have been, just putting that out there. And you see, you hear your city, you go absolutely stupid. Now, if you're traveling because they don't come to your city, so you have to go ahead and travel, then the meaning is a little bit less. You see, you're still gonna scream, but the meaning of it is a little bit less. But when you hear your city, for some reason, we just go stupid. Oh, that's where I'm from. I'm right here. It's just natural. It's a natural muscle reaction. So I love the fact that they both kind of have this city, shout thing. Um, I loved Roman's line when he said, "Hey, you're not faster than me. You're not stronger than me. Hell, you're not better looking than me," which is 100% true. Stuck out his tongue, looking absolutely amazing. Love that image. He posted it. Looked at it, almost with crazy waterworks, right? But um,
Over that rage, Roman over that rage, baby, man.
yeah, yeah,
Man,
yeah, yeah,
stop it,
yeah,
Roman, bro.
yeah.
You over here
But
rage, baby.
but 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 all jokes aside, and everything he said was pretty accurate. He does have about 7 years on Roman. Roman's 40, I believe he is 47, 48. Um, so even though both in the 40s, technically in the same bracket of numbers, there's a big difference there. Of course, CM Punk looks really, really old now, and that's because he let he let all his gray grow out. Has a short haircut now. Has the bags, which the bags were hereditary. He had the bags even when he was younger. I mean, he had even when he was long hair Punk, he had the bags. Some bags, dark circles are hereditary. Um, but it really gets in that old disheveled look. A lot of jokes that people have said, hey, he gets gassed out pretty easy, which he does. We have seen it. We heard stories about, and shouts out to Teco, um, who was the host of Yeet Thursdays. That's where her reference from the wild card from Miami kind of played a role into. It was something that me and Teco did. We have Miami kind of fill in and be the wild card when we were doing spaces on X. Hey, because we moved on from spaces to lives, and other companies are stuck still on X, and that's when they actually do the lives, which is never. But anyway, um, but with that being said, Teco did say, I think was it that? I forgot which PLE he was on. I think it was Chamber, where he came out and talking about Punk, and he apparently they had to cut the footage and like roll him down the ramp and then cut it back again because he was getting gassed out from walking that long ramp. And so we know that, hey, Punk has gotten tired. Now, granted, he's not doing the Jey Uso while he's just getting just tired, just from eating. Like he's getting tired from matches. So all that kind of plays a role into it. And like I told you many times, like, hey, um, the whole thing with CM Punk is that he's been playing this idea about him retiring because he's old. He said it way before this whole feud between him and Roman, or this current feud, I should say, where he said, hey, Father Time is like as his greatest enemy. He knows that this time is coming. He's old. He's been saying that now, so he's kind of been saying that in his head that, hey, I'm here, but I'm not at 100%, because I am on the older time. I don't know how long I keep doing this. So that's kind of playing into his retirement, about him being too old to still continue to do it. So I like the idea, and that's going to lead into where I'm going to go to you, Miami, in a second, because that's why we got the reaction we got from CM Punk. Um, of course, we got um, him, Roman, giving that really great line saying, "You're old," leaning forward and saying it. And of course, we have the whole punch from CM Punk. He Roman laughs it off, looks great, kind of lays back in the ring, in the ropes for a little bit, laughs. A physical comes out. break it up, and we go on from there. Um, but we say this to say, out of everything that Roman has said, what really ticked off CM Punk was the last line, which was "You're leaning forward and said you're old." And I think, even though it's not a heavy line, I think it's a heavy line within the story, because the whole idea of Punk's retirement story is that he's just too old to do it. Is it his time? The final hang of the boots, for good, not just because he left on his own because he was fed up, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, because he's older now. He can't buy back time. He was gone for 10 years, 10, 11 years. He coming back, still great, physically a lot older because that's nature, but it's in his head now. Hey, am I really, really that old? Is it say, is it so noticeable? People can actually see it. They can see it in me physically. They can see it in me, when I wrestle in my matches, and when I come out, not just how I look. Um, that's and that it just really kind of in the head of him. But I really like that. He also talked about some about Roman, about how being part time, because of course we got Punk taking shots about him being part time, not being here, having his cousins here, but he's not here. But you also have Roman really have a good comeback and say, well, hey, that's what the big stars do. Go ahead, and ask your wife. Um, Now, for me, I think because I took a step forward with Punk, because you had Roman come out and say, hey, I'm the opening, the middle, and the end. Well, when was the last time you did that, Roman? Because usually you open or usually you're closing. You ain't staying around the whole show. I haven't seen you do that in years. So, I mean, hey, that could have been a line. So that was a waste of time. So whoever wrote this promo for Punk, man, you didn't, hey, you got to compare notes. And shouts out to someone that Miami's a big fan of now. Miami is a huge fan of
Who's
the
that?
Brooklyn Brawler. Hey, and as you
Oh
learn,
my God, you a lie. Lie
and
again.
as, and as you have
You a
learned
lie.
from
Lie
And
again.
as you had learned from Brooklyn Brawler, you should do what? You should compare
Oh my
notes, and that's what makes the story so great. And it looks like they didn't do that for this promo, because I damn sure wrote on paper once I heard the whole line that Roman gave about, hey, Ashley White, that's what the big stars do. I would have said, hey, you're in the beginning, middle, and the end. When the last time you did that? Oh, why? Because we're close to WrestleMania, and that's when all the money is. I would have went stupid. That's just me. Um, but yeah, and that's something that that's in the business. And yes, Miami, we know how much you love Brooklyn Brawler. Hey, hey, it was like Rock's
oh
first
my
match. Come
God.
on, how can you not love him? But in the match, you have
Oh
people
my
saying the Rock's
God.
name. That was before he was the Rock. That was before he was going as just damn
Oh my
Dwayne. I mean, come
God.
on, he only had $7 in his pocket. What are you talking about?
Oh
So.
my God. Oh,
I'm sorry. Are you disagreeing with me, Miami? So you don't.
you know what? You know, you know damn
Hello?
damn well, because I will put this on exclusive. I mean, explicit. But you know damn well, and
Explicit.
no disrespect
Mhm.
to the Brooklyn Brawler. I mean, Brooklyn Brawler is the Brooklyn Brawler, but man, them time when he's coming in space every freaking time, it was the same story. I mean, my God. We know. Okay, Rock had $7 only in his pocket. I got him. So okay, Brooklyn. Okay, you got any more stories? Nothing but that one. I mean, living off
Hey,
the
hey,
glory
hey,
days
hey,
is
hey.
one thing.
Hey,
That's
I will
another ball
tell
game.
you that, hey, Miami likes telling the same stories. How many times he had to say, man, I was on them streets, man. I was on the
Hey
streets,
man, that was
man.
between
I'm
me and
like,
you
I'm
now.
like Jacob,
Why we gotta
man.
tell the
I'm like
whole people,
Jacob,
man?
man. Hey, I didn't say what you was doing. Hey, I didn't say what you was doing on the streets. I'm just saying you was on the streets. But, hey, I'm like,
Why we
man, I
gotta
was
tell
busy doing
DWE
something
people,
else.
man?
Man, hey, I was busy doing something else back in
I
'07.
know,
Hey,
man. But hey,
hey, I was locked up in that box like Jacob's fat too. I did like 6 years in the box. I'm like, huh? We already know this.
You know what? Let's go ahead and get to our caller because our caller been waiting on the air. We do have the link on the Talk It Up page. It is pinned to the Talk It Up page because we only have 2 more topics for SmackDown and we will close it out. But let's get to our caller who has been patiently
Man, we got
waiting.
Z down there
Caller,
dying laughing, bro.
uh,
We
he
got Z
probably
down
is.
there dying laughing.
Welcome, caller. You are on the air. How are you doing? Welcome to DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. You are on the call. What's going on? What's your thoughts about what the topics we talked about? What's your thoughts about Raw and
I don't even know what's
SmackDown,
calling
caller?
in.
What's up, y'all? It's DWE Ridge. It's great to be here.
Oh, Reg, what's going on?
Oh, shit! It got red. Wait, hold on. Where's the music at? Oh my god, who's in charge of the fucking music now?
Yo,
Welcome to the damn DJ. Is CJ in here? The Golden Boy in here?
Look,
Slam in
look,
here? Ain't nobody in
look,
here today? God damn!
hey,
I
yo.
had that. I got too many. I got too many jobs, so we're gonna have to hire
Shit,
somebody
is
else.
Greg in here? Oh,
You're
Jesus
on the
Christ.
air.
Hey, yo.
What's your thoughts about Raw, SmackDown, and the things that we've been talking about? Go ahead and give us your thoughts on, boss man.
Hey, I agree with Final Boss. CM Punk could have went hard to go home. You can hear me?
Yeah, we get you. Go ahead.
I agree with Final Boss. CM Punk, whoever wrote that, they wasn't comparing notes. It felt like what they did about. It sounded like what they did like a month ago.
Well,
they told them go out there and make us some money, and hey, it did. But if CM Punk want to keep that title and he want to keep the fans invested on his side, he need to pick it up. I'm sorry, I need another pipe bomb.
Well, I think, and it's something that Bubba Ray said, and it's something I'm gonna put out to you and Final Boss is that he said that he said he did something sort of like this, and I'm surprised Final Boss didn't bring it up. It was something back in TNA when Bubba and Sting was facing each other in TNA, and he said actually before they came out with that promo, he said he told Sting told him don't call me old, and he said why? I'm the heel. He said, if I call you old, I'll call you old. He said, no, because if I beat you, you have just got beat by the old man. And Bubba was like, okay, so, but he said, it's a thing in wrestling you just don't do. You don't call a wrestler old. So I guess, and that's like a thing in the wrestling terms. So I guess to us, it doesn't seem much, but I guess to wrestler, it does because I guess it means
Wait a minute now, Miami. Wait a minute now, Miami. That's only because Miami loves being called old. He likes saying, I'm old. I forget because I'm old. He uses that as an excuse.
What are we doing?
So you can't count that now. You can't count that now.
Look, I get offended
you
when you
can't
don't call
count
me
that.
old. You calling me old?
Yeah, so for everybody else, you know, not everybody want to be an
When they call me unc, I was like, yep, I'm old. That was it.
Hey.
I knew I was done.
Easy there now, Pops.
I'm right.
Easy there, Pops, man.
See? But I do agree with you, Reg. What's your thoughts about, do you got any theories about who could be on the phone with Randy Orton?
Hey, at this point, if it ain't his daddy, it gotta be The Rock. Because The Rock did say long-term story booking. The man can still be pulling strings, and we don't even know.
Yeah,
but if he's on the phone,
because if
the royal family, why? Because it is Roman in
there. Because it's more than one royal family, and the WWE is always considered the Samoans they major royal family.
The Samoan dynasty, but you think so?
And the way how they could
so what
put
you're
The Rock.
So what you're saying, Reggie, is that we're not going to do The Rock going to be part of the CM Punk Roman story. He's going to be part of the Randy Orton story?
He's going to be part of all of it.
Oh, Lord.
It's
so he's going to have The Rock in the beginning, the middle, and in the end.
Yeah, hello.
So he's doing the Roman Reigns.
Yes.
Oh.
Because
Okay.
if you notice from the start, they wanted
Mm-hmm.
Cody to sell his soul. He never sold his soul because he said it was never the right time. Why?
Well, look,
Why
that's
wouldn't
No,
it
that's
be?
not what
Boss
he
with his name.
said. He said, "Now, you know what he said? He said, Rock, go fuck yourself." What the
Well, we
motherfucker
know that,
said
but we
now.
saying he's saying in interviews that Coda was saying that. I know what he's saying.
Well, Cody was
We know
saying,
it's promo.
according to I don't know about Cody interviews. I don't watch those. But what I do know is that Rock said that, hey, he wanted Cody to turn heel. He didn't want to, so he had that scene.
Yeah.
So was that
And
the right time, or was he didn't want to do it?
and now
I
that
think he just didn't want to do it.
he just didn't
Mm,
want to
That's
do it
what he
yet.
said.
But what's gonna force
Yeah,
him to do it
that's
is
what he
everybody
said.
turning on him because first it was KO, then
mm-hmm,
it was
Mm-hmm.
John Cena, now it's Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm.
The last person to turn on him will be Sammy. And when Sammy
Yeah,
finally turns on him,
I
he's
have been.
fine.
Yeah, I have been
He's
hearing a lot
finally
of
going to
people
get
say that
mad.
too. Yeah, I
mm-hmm.
have. I heard some people say that. What's your thoughts? Because we're gonna talk about this in a few minutes. But what's your thoughts about? I know Jay's your girl. This new fashion she got with B-Fab and
Oh my god,
Michin. Are you
big
liking
boy.
it? Do you feel like it's gonna go somewhere? What's your thoughts about the new fashion with B-Fab and Jade and Michin?
See, Jade, she knows what she's doing, but I don't trust that those two that's behind her is actually behind her. I think that's a ploy.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. It could be. It was weird. They just put them together like that and just throw them together.
Because for weeks, Jade
I
has been
understand why the
taunting them.
B-Fab thing was because they have doing a lot of things with B-Fab. Yeah. I have been seeing a lot of things with B-Fab, but the Me Chin part was kind of like, okay. So it does feel like it was thrown together, but like I said, I think they just wanted to follow up on what we seen before, what we seen B-Fab and Jay kind of was talking to each other in the background. And like I say, they wanted probably to follow up on it, not just leave it on deaf ears. But yeah, I do feel you on that, man. We'll see what's gonna go on next. I do like it. I want to see where it's gonna go. I told Final Boss when we not was on air. I think they're gonna probably keep it on Jade. They probably gonna keep it on Jade because now she got this fashion. Why not? I think the fashion will do good with her being champion. You can do so many stuff and storylines with that. You already got questions of can we trust Mi Chin? I know B Fab, but Mi Chin. So by her still being champion, you can still throw that out there. If that's the direction they want to go. But yeah. Other than that, you got any last thoughts on Reg?
Nah. I was over here listening. Y'all two are too funny. Y'all need more than y'all own radio show. But all right, y'all. I'll be
That'd be
back
her.
here
That would be
listening.
me. All right, Reg. Appreciate you coming by. That was DW Reg. But like I said, if y'all want to give a call in before we get to our last two topics of DW Radio, the radio that's not on the radio, it is pinned on the Talk It Up page. You can see it now. It is now pinned on the Talk It Up page. You can hit that link and come in and give us your thoughts about what you think about Raw, SmackDown, or whatever match or whatever things that's going on in wrestling. If not, we will read your comments off. Like I say, shouts out to everyone who's stopping by. Z, who's been commenting a lot on the Talk It Up page. I don't know who else is live, but because Z's the only one that's coming. So whoever else is live with us, the 191, 92 people, it just went up. 92 people. Shouts out to you. Shouts out to Z being our top commenter of today. But let's get to our next topic, which will be SmackDown. um, I know this was something that Final Boss was saying that she didn't want to. She was like, "Man, Damien Priest on fell off," but and I probably do agree that because last year he was the champ. Well, 2 years ago he was the world champion. Now he's the tag team champion. Um, I feel like they're still playing hot potato with this the tag team titles. I thought they was going to do the tag team titles versus the MFT again at WrestleMania, but they took the titles off of them. I don't know what's going to be next for these tag team titles, Final Balls. If you ask me, what do they do? What direction do they go? It seems like they're trying to pump back up Motor Machine Gun. It seems like they're going to put Johnny Gargano with them because I don't know if you've seen that, Final Boss, but his wife did come out and help them win the match. So that really kind of caught my interest there, where they might do a team where they put Johnny with them, and maybe this will get them back started because they do need some more teams on SmackDown. I was just shocked they did this. They did it on a random SmackDown. They changed the titles around with with Truth and Damien Priest going to WrestleMania as champion. Probably so. Would they do a match with someone? I don't know. Right now there are not that many tag teams that are really exciting on SmackDown or Raw, because sometimes I forget that the Usos are the tag champions. This might be the first time I ever would say, because I knew we used to say this about the women's tag team, but right now it seems like we're at a point where I feel like they could do away with the tag titles, or at least have one on one brand, and just it goes through every brand like how they're doing with the women's title, because two titles are not enough. I know a lot of people are hurt, a lot of people are injured. That is an understanding, but it's just not enough enough stars to put in tag teams. This is why I wish they could use some people from AA. It seems like they forgot about TNA. They could have used some people from maybe TNA to pull and just give us a couple surprises. But really surprised about R-Truth and Damien Priest winning the tag titles on Friday. Want to see where they're going to go with this story they got next. I don't know who will be the next people to fight them or challenge them for the titles. And I would like to see what will go on next with the MFT. We will get into them. That will be our next topic and our final topic for today. But if you got any thoughts about R-Truth and Damien Priest being the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, Final Boss, we can talk about that. If not, we'll get on to our last topic, which is the solo topic. She might be busy. We'll get back to that. We'll circle back around to that. She might step away from the desk real quick. But while we're on the next topic, and like I say, let me run down a couple things. Like I say, shouts out to everyone. Since we got a few more people in here, 194 people. Shouts out to you. Please give us a follow. We cannot do this without y'all. We need your support. We need you to follow us. Put us on notification if you don't mind. Follow me on X. That's Miami the Great 305 on X. That's on X or Twitter, whichever you call it now these days. Please follow my co-host, Final Boss Baby. That's Final Boss with 2 B's, 1 Y, CFO on X. That's all together, Final Boss Baby, all together, CFO on X. That's all together. Please follow our Talk It Up podcast page. It's spelled just the way I'm saying it. Talk It Up podcast on X. We're live on that now, so please go ahead and give that a follow. Put that on notification if you won't mind. A lot of wrestling news we put out on there. A lot of content we put out on there. A great way to keep up with all the content that we have and all the wrestling news and information if you want that to be something that you want to get your wrestling news avenue from. Also, please give us a follow on Twitch. That's DWE Radio, the radio that's not on the radio. But guess what? We're on Spotify and we're on Twitch. Please give us a follow on Twitch too. And we're live on YouTube. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. We got a lot of shorts. We got like 494 or 95 shorts. Please go like, comment, give us the thoughts. A lot of my Inside the Mind of Miami is on there. A lot of DWE Radio shorts are on there. And a lot of our lives from DWE Radio are on on our YouTube. So go ahead and subscribe over there. Go like and please drop a comment if you won't mind. On there we have a lot of information, a lot of stuff that goes on there. Please give people in DWE a follow. That's the EVP CJP of DWE, our golden boy of EVP, our silver boy. After the Sam podcast, he will not be live this week because it's his son's birthday. So happy birthday to After Sam's son. But you can catch CJ the EVP show, the scoop show that he has that will come on later on at 6:00 p.m. He might come on a little early. I don't know. So far, I don't think he is, but I know it will still come on at 6 far as I know. So catch him tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. But other than that, we will get to our last topic, our final topic, and that's is Solo acting like Roman Reigns. Yesterday we got a after the MFT, because we just talked about them losing the title. They lost the title, and Solo was backstage blaming Tama and Jason Matella, also Tamaloa and Hikalea. He was all blaming them for losing the title. And Tama said, "Hey, this Lantern is making you crazy. It's making you like Roman." And Solo had the look on his face like he was berserk, but it cut away real well, which I give the cameraman credit on that. It cut away because you had Jacob and Drew still brawling because you just had Randy Orton. He was in the ring. He just had attacked Matt Cardona. This was something that Final Boss said she didn't like because you had that attack, then you had this segment, then you had the brawl with Jacob and Drew, which I liked it all this. It made me feel like a little old school Attitude Era. It made me feel like the classic WWE era. We didn't get a logo. We didn't get like the signature or anything. It just went straight off, which I did like about SmackDown. But you got that, and then next thing you know, you didn't see Solo and the MFT again. And I was wondering, and Final Boss did bring this up, and I don't know if she'll be back in time, but she was like, I think they're probably trying to break up the MFT, and I was like, yeah, they could be. And one thing I did notice, they've been teasing this for quite a while. They've been doing this Tama Tonga and Solo thing for quite some time. And I was like, well, if we're going to break up, even if we take Tama Tonga out of the group and do a couple matches with him and Solo, what that does for the rest of the group. And then two, how far and how well can you push this story if there's a story there? And will it still link back to Roman? Because he did bring up Roman in this promo, which is interesting, but Roman and them are on Raw. And another reason, which we don't know if they're going to bring back or they just going to switch people over, the draft I'm talking about is are they going to put just the whole MFT on Raw to maybe make the story give it more sense or more flavor where we can maybe know the direction they're going to go. And I think that's something that they should do because the MFT do need something fresh. SmackDown needs a lot. It's getting better, but it's not something is still missing. There's a lot of things missing. I feel like we got to start making stars. That's why I feel like I was telling Final Boss about the Oba Femi thing. They do need him to win because that can make him a star, and you can start having that star now, future star of WWE, because we do need that. Because a lot there was one time on DWE Radio that we said a lot of our stars now are retiring, so you do got to start making new stars. I think one of them need to be Royce Keys. We don't know what's going on with him. I know he's been doing dark matches. That's all. He has been prepared. That's another person that I would like to see them start putting a rocket on their back. I know Braun Breaker, once he gets back, they're going to put him probably back in that spot. I don't know about Bronson Reed and Logan Paul. Not just yet. We'll have to wait and see. But I feel like Solo and them definitely need something different now. And I think even if they do this breakup, they still need to be on Raw, because I think you can go into some ideas, some thoughts, some things like that where you could say, well, are they going to do Solo going to go back with Roman? If the MFT is going to join Roman? I think we can have those theories out there for that. And I think, like I say, they do need something fresh. I have never at first the feud with him and the Y6 was okay. I don't feel like it's going nowhere. It didn't pick up, I think, the traction that WWE wanted. Like I say, I always say I love the work that they give Solo. Solo tries his best to do what he can do with the work they give him, and he does well. I do give him that. But I feel like either this one is going to lead to one or two things. Either Solo is going to go by himself and just go on a, no pun intended, solo kind of run, or it's just him for like a long time. Because believe it or not, Solo's always been in a group. When he was with the Bloodline, he was with Roman, Jimmy, and Jay. And then when Roman dropped the title, he had got the Tongans, and he got Jacob, which we was calling Bloodline 2.0. That was a group. After Jacob left, then you had Jason Matella and Hikuleo joining the group. So he was always so far, Solo's been in a group from day one since he came really on the main roster. He hasn't had a solo run. And I think this may be the one time where they put him by himself and give him that run. I don't want to say Roman Reigns type of run, because I want to kind of be careful with the words I say, because I don't want to offend the Roman Reigns fan, because I am one. But it would be something sort of close to that, because I'm thinking that they could. I feel like Solo can do it. Solo, every time they give him a character or every time they give him something to do, to me, he knocks it out the park. I love the Mad Solo. I love the Mafia Solo, the one that he's doing now, especially when he's in the room and he's at the table and stuff, and he's cutting the promo. I love that work from him. He does a great job at it. I think that the whole group with Solo is that it was not a lot of things they didn't follow up on with him. And I feel like that's where we have to come back to later on down the line if they are going to break up the MFT. Solo has already won the United States title. So that's already one title he already has won. He's went after the Undisputed title, but has never won it. If you do put him on Raw, you could maybe have him go for the IC title, maybe. Right now Penta has it, so maybe you can make Solo grab it, and then he'll only have two more titles to get before he becomes Grand Slam champion. I think they will put him as the tag. Well, no. Well, he won the tag title too, so yeah, he'll still only have to win 3 right now, because he'll have to win the IC title, the World title, and then the Undisputed title, which will make him Grand Slam champion. So by him going to Raw, he can hit one of those and knock one of those out. Will he go for the world title? Maybe, maybe not, because I still feel like Roman will win at Mania. And also by Solo going by himself, you can tease a Solo and Roman match again, but this time it's just Solo's by itself. It's not for the Ulafala. It's not a thing he just sort of kind of want to be how Jay want to be, carry the family. You might can do something like sort of like that, maybe, if you wanted to. If that's the direction they want to go. I just want to see if that's something they are willing to do and want to do with Solo. Far as the MFT, I don't see why and I was talking about tag teams earlier. I don't know why they didn't just put the Tongas by themselves, or give the Tongas a great run. I understand what they were trying to do. They were trying to use the Freebird rules. It's something that the New Day, I think, so far, they the only team that has made it look good and done good, except the Freebirds itself, who the rule is made after. Far as that, they are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that have made it look good when they did this rule. Um, I I mean, and can they do it with Tama and their other brother? Maybe if they just do it by itself. I think Jason Matella could go by itself. He reminds me of a much of a Rhino a little bit. He's sort of a Rhino kind of look guy to me. And I love Rhino back at ECW. If you're an ECW fan, you know who I'm talking about. But far as that, I think a lot of these guys are either going to go either solo by themselves, or they still will probably do a tag team. I'm thinking they might keep the Tongas together, and they might put Jason Taylor by himself, because you do need some bodies. Like I say, they do need something fresh, something new. You do need some guys that are by themselves. I mean, the group thing is okay, but I think WWE needs to mainly learn to start doing solo matches with people too, and start building them up even more. I think they didn't do too well with MFT. I had a lot of great expectations for MFT. I seen a lot that could have came out of it. It just didn't go that way because we kept doing this Y6 and MFT thing over and over again. But that's just my thoughts, guys. But other than that, I think that's my take on Solo. I feel like they do need a change. I do like the way the story's going so far and the direction they're going. We have to see where they're going to go and what way are they going to go with it. Other than that, maybe find a boss to step away. We are at our 2-hour mark where we normally be at. Normally do these things like 2 or 3 hours. We didn't have too much going on in the wrestling world for this week. Pretty much we're still on the road to WrestleMania. I do like the card so far. Oba Femi, we did talk about the Oba Femi and Brock Lesnar thing. I am very excited for that. I think it could do well. I'm pretty sure we're going to get AJ Lee and Becky Lynch again. I'm definitely ready for the CM Punk and Roman Reigns match. I think that's the most exciting match. Am I a little excited about Cody and Randy? Yay and nay. It's in the middle for me right now because I feel like Randy's going to win anyway. It's not hype yet. Could they get it there? I don't know. So far, I'm pretty sure they probably do something with Sammy and Trick, because Sammy and Trick had something with what happened this Friday, and they might and definitely probably do something with Drew and Jacob. I'm hoping that it's sort of like a extreme match or something like that. I feel like that definitely should have a stipulation. That would probably be pretty cool. If they do something like that, it'll be a good way to write off Drew McIntyre, because we know he's going to have filming after that. But other than that, I think that'll be the card so far. We'll see what more matches they have. We'll discuss that as we go along into our WrestleMania week. Remember, guys, that Saturday we will not go live for DWE Radio, but we will maybe do I'm trying to convince Final Boss to do a watch party. It will actually be a watch party. We will not show it on TV. We will not show it on the screen because we keep getting flagged. We'll actually just react to it, and hopefully you guys will come in and get our reaction of what we think. Hopefully, if the card is getting better as we go along, and if I'm pretty sure Final Boss is going to want to do it, if we get more clues that the Final Boss will show up, I think she will actually definitely go live. But I think, like she said, maybe night 2 or night 1, that will happen. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, thank you guys for joining me. 201 people. I really appreciate you. If you don't mind please give me a follow on X. That's Miami the Great 305 on X. And also, could you give my co-host Final Boss Baby, that's 2 B's 1 Y CFO, a follow. That's Final Boss Baby CFO on X, a follow. And please give our Talk It Up podcast page a follow on X. That's Talk It Up podcast. Please put us on notification when you could know when we would go live. Sometimes we don't go live every Saturday. Sometimes it be out throughout the week. It depends on how the wrestling went. Sometimes we just cover Raw and that's be it. And also put me on notification because I do the Inside of the Mind. That's the off season for the NFL. You can get some information about bets, fantasy football. Me and CJ, we have a Discord, putting some stuff together for that real quick where you can get all the information for 4 scores and things like that. But other than that, please give me a follow on. Also give the YouTube a subscribe.
Oh shit! I missed right now. Wait a minute now.
Mute her because she just all loud and ghetto. Just you know what, ghetto people. Yeah, you know what? Can't take them out the hood. You know I can mute you, right? See, I'm your boss. I'm your goddamn boss. You listen to me. You acknowledge me when I'm in here. not Richard. Richard said, I'm gone. Let me finish and I'll let you do your spiel. We're at the end of the show. Look at you. Look at you now. Look at you now. Oh. Take her out from you. She might gotta say something.
The radio promo? Yeah, y'all niggas suck. Y'all can't get. Oh my god.
All the time.
You suck.
Yeah. I put on mute. Yeah. It's been we 2 hours in, my love. We're 2 hours.
Yeah, but y'all ain't carried the show with the radio and
It's the curtain call. It's okay. 203 people.
What's this like? Michael Jackson? Is it the fire curtain call? This is it? That comes out next month.
Look, you had Z out there, you know, like where's the Final Boss? You had all the other fans where you was at. They asked about it.
I was only gone for like 15 minutes. Y'all gone?
Hey, 15 minutes too long. See?
So you went through the whole thing. Man, you went through Randy Orton, you went to Jacob and Drew?
Yeah.
Really? Y'all talked about Jade Cargill and her faction with B-Fab and Michin?
We did that when you was in here. We talked about that when you was in here. You in here? Where was you at?
Man, you know what? This is why. See, now, I want to tell people on the record now. Now, if I wasn't on this show would be a good 30 minutes. You know that, right?
Hey. That, back in the day, you said back when Raw was remember now. You remember when y'all said, hi, y'all. We had our last match. You was like, man, yo. So, hey, you should like those times now.
Yeah, or remember when Randy said it, not Randy, when Roman said it to CM Punk. Come on, man, we on cable now. Contract signing. Contract signing.
Yeah, that was, Roman.
Yeah, contract signing for WrestleMania.
Yeah, that WrestleMania when it was and
yeah, the contract signing.
That was
same blood, best friend, all that stuff. Yeah, man, y'all went through everything already.
We said that, but you wasn't here. But you want to get
Polo
and Jay.
Yes. What the hell going on every day? This company, where DWT at, man? This company. Jesus Christ, man.
Look, you got 204 people in here, so you got
y'all went through a 3-hour show in 15 minutes.
Well, that wasn't that much that happened on SmackDown now. Hold up now.
Oh my God. This was
Look, Randy should have came out there and did the Roman Reigns promo. Because he was at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the show.
I definitely I had a lot to say.
But yeah.
It's yours. Go ahead. We're
yeah.
listening.
But as far as the thing with Solo and Tonga, the thing is that they really set it up, as we know, on Raw, because remember one line that Roman said to CM Punk was, "Hey, something about the Samoans being mad. Samoans may come for a cemetery. They're coming their own. And then we got this whole thing where, as we know, really, really odd, but we got Damien Priest and R-Truth as the new tag team champions. And it's crazy because, like I told you, offline, like, hey, 2 years ago, we had Damien Priest winning the championship at WrestleMania. Here we are 2 years later, and this WrestleMania is coming in as a tag team champion with R-Truth. So it's just crazy, what 2 years can really do to a star. Like, in 2 years, you can either be big in what you ever were, or you can, kind of go way down from what you were. So to me, it's crazy. And this is a guy who had, in my opinion, after Edge, had led the Judgment Day, then had became champion, and then the championship run was clearly not great. And then now here we are. So it's crazy. But yeah, we got a backstage segment with Solo and Tonga, and he said, just go ahead and give the Y6 back their lantern, and you're starting to act like Roman, and the next thing we know, we see a beat down between Jacob Fatu kind of enters in, and he's fighting Drew McIntyre. We got the really crazy ending of Drew and Jacob like on the ledge. And we got all the officials on the other side behind a fence, a white fence. We can't see the other side, and they're kind of oddly, slowly, somewhat fighting. And then it looks like Drew grabbed Jacob's shirt, and they both kind of fell down. But it was so obscured, we can't see how far it fell, which is actually really smart placement by WWE. That's how it ended. For me, the highlight of the show was, of course, the Randy Orton stuff. We got Randy cut that very nice promo. My favorite line out of that promo was really, he sat down in a chair, which is what he did last week after he beat down Cody Rhodes. He sat down in the chair with the title. This time, sit down in the chair. Cuts a really nice promo. Says that, he doesn't want to be known, for moments and making fans happy and telling kids happy birthday. He wants to be remembered, when he's gone, about how many titles he won, how many championships he won, which is great. I love that. It's real. I also love when, the backstage interaction between him and Matt Cardona. Matt Cardona pretty much doing the good old, what happened to you is not the Randy Orton I used to know. We go way, way back. We got Randy Orton being really crazy, beating him down, saying, stay out of my business, stay out of my way. Later on, we saw him on the phone saying he's going to make it right. He came out there, did the great old, I apologize, I'm sorry, gave him a hug, about to shake his hand, kicks him in the nuts, and then gets the great beat down. Officials come out there to try to break it up. He stops. Hears the voices in his head, does a little pause, and then, it beats him down some more. So I really like this character they're going with Randy Orton. It's really going back to the voices. It's not just a song anymore. It's him going back to hearing the crazy voices in his head, and they're really playing it off, especially on Friday, where he has to pause, stop, hear him kind of bend down, close his eyes, and then he hears the voices and beats him up again. I really enjoy it. And this is going to be Randy Orton as champion. This is going to be a wild ride for Randy Orton. So I'm excited. I don't know if you feel the same way in Miami, if you said that earlier, or if you feel differently.
No, you asked me to recap what I said, y'all. So welcome to the Miami recap.
You see? Wait a minute now. We know that Randy Orton said what? There's more than one world family. Well, guess what? There's more than one recap show. Not the DVT. recap show. And, you know, hey now, hey.
I
Yeah.
mean, bro, you did put some parts in there about the rent. I did like the backstage. I didn't touch on that because I did forget about it, but I did like the backstage segment with Randy and Matt Cardona when he said what he said to him. I was like, man, that sounds like that came from a real place. And I instantly, when he said that, I was like, oh, I love this Randy.
Yeah.
This is not the old school heel Randy. I think he's leveled up even more than we have ever seen him before. I think it's gonna be, man, it's gonna be sort of like how we.
Well, hold on now. Do we remember when Randy had absolutely destroyed Ric Flair, or when Randy was going around being down, donking his ass?
Yeah, it's gonna be worse than that. I'm telling you.
Really?
Because look what he did. Look what he did to Cody, and then turned around and did to Matt Cardona. And shouts out to Matt Cardona for selling that sale for him coming down like on the chair. And like I said, I told everybody I didn't like the part about that beat down, and then they went to the Jacob beat down. I said I love that part. I love the way SmackDown went off because I did give me that attitude era.
Because Miami did take my thunder because I was the one who said the whole told my blind, and if you don't believe me, go on my timeline. I put it right in the moment. Man, can Matt Cardona fucking sell? He sold the hell out of the RKO. He sold the hell out of that chair, arm in the chair move. The announce table, really did his thing. That all was broken. We could hear a little snap of course the chair, which we envisioned it being, of course, McIntyre's arm for kayfabe purposes. It was just really, really good. And I assume McIntyre is written off now because now he has a broken arm. But it kayfabe. So it was really, really good. I like that. I wasn't really a big fan of Drew and Jacob stuff. I thought the initial interaction with him and Jacob actually odd because it's like him and Jacob in the car is please. He's on. You have Drew McIntyre on the roof of the car pulling out Jacob out the driver's seat, and the glass is just one whole piece that he just throw onto the side like it was just propped there. So it was just that was that case for me. So it was good, but I think my highlight of the show for me was the Randy Orton stuff. And I think, and it's crazy how, we know Randy was a big star. Remember, young Randy Orton, his great work that he did as a solo star, as he did with Evolution, as he did even with Rated RKO. But, for the last 2 years, he hasn't really had, strong booking. A lot of that is by design. He's been kind of off here and there. Also let other people shine. And now, within weeks, boom, here we are. He's back right where he used to be years ago. So it just shows you how with great booking, anyone could be right back to where they were. No matter where they are now in the card and how to just book. So it's just another pigment of seeing that. Roman Reigns also is a great story of that too. Came out, very high out of great group of Shield, had really bad booking as the underdog, as the big dog, and look, a character change, a great booking turned into like the biggest thing WWE. So, and it's really good to see that for Randy Orton. He's gonna be gone in a few years, and seeing him being the Randy Orton that we remember being the youngest world champion at the time, and it's great to see. What about stuff with Solo? Did you like that? Do you think it's going to stay? Well, I think it's going to go. You think they can do best for Solo?
Let me go over that again.
Yes, no.
I was saying I did like it. No, I did like it. I was just saying it needs something fresh. I'm gonna give you the small version because everybody heard my spiel about Solo. But I think that
okay, so everybody here already heard it. Go ahead and close your ears. People who just got in here, y'all listen. Y'all be quiet here.
I feel like they do need something fresh. I said they need to go to Raw to maybe add to this story because I do find it weird that Thomas said he's acting like Roman. And I said that this may give, because a lot of people don't know, since Solo's been on the main roster, he's been in a group. He's never been by himself yet. And I think this is going to be the art. I think this will be the art for him to go finally by himself. I don't want to
Solo gonna be going solo.
Yeah. No pun intended. And I don't want to say he's gonna go on a kind of Roman Reigns trajectory because that's kind of setting the bar. But it'll be something probably similar or sort of close to that, where they probably do it on his own. Because Solo's great. Everything they give him, he tries to knock it out. He tries to make sure it goes the way it goes. So I believe they really do have faith in him. Out of all the brothers, I like him maybe the most, even though I love the Usos. The Usos are great together. Apart, they kind of, but Solo by himself, I feel like is going to really thrive. He's going to probably be, he's going to probably come out of nowhere where nobody's going to see it if they do this thing where they're going to put him. I said put the song in the tag team and put Jason Matella by himself too.
Well, remember, this is another example. Here we go. Remember, you had Solo versus John Cena years ago, and nothing really came out of that. And we're like, man, Solo is never going to be, that top guy. He was always kind of the guy in the background, and during the bloodline. Kind of a joke, right? The enforcer didn't talk, didn't talk. Finally talked and didn't say much. And then, Roman loses the title at WrestleMania, and then what did we get? We got this Solo where he was running the damn thing. It was a Solo that he was doing this, he was doing his thing, and a lot of people like myself believed in Solo. We liked where it was going with the Live 2.0, initially. And it was, it was great. And then, what happened? We moved on from the bloodline story, and it kind of, took a fall. Well, it did take a fall down, and then, it lost credibility of all the work that he had, all the great work he had right after Roman had lost the title. And now here we are again, kind of picking it back up again, and him being, really that top star status again. So it's another reinvention. So, they say, a lot of people say that, hey, and I'm one of them, I said, hey, WWE, they don't have a lot of new stars, which they don't. They have a lot of call-ups. You got, Sick Williams doing his thing. We got Bob Evans in the world. We have Oba Femi. But the thing about WWE is that they know what they can do. They know that, hey, yeah, we need new stars. But they also know that, hey, right now we're busy because we're focused on, making sure that a lot of these future legends or current legends, about to be in the Hall of Fame, have really good last few runs. And, we might have to put people on the back burner for now because we want to make sure they have their proper send-off and then we can focus on other people. But they're also doing it because WWE has crafted the fact that, hey, we can turn someone from being, not even a thought in your mind to being that top guy or that top girl in weeks with the right booking. They've done it before. They've proven that. They get somebody a fresh coat of paint and boom, here they are. Now, have they had failures? Yes. But they have done it, and they will continue to do it because they're just that good. And I think Solo is an example of that. It went from, hey, this guy is really not doing much to, hey, how did the best of John Cena? Oh my God, he's gonna be something. To it never came out of that. You're back down where we were. You're in the bloodline, but you're not a key player. It's really, Usos and Roman Reigns. Okay. Right after WrestleMania, here we are again. The biggest thing is Solo leaves Bloodline 2.0. Here we go again. Hey, we're back down here. We're fighting we're fighting the Wyatts. Yeah, we're tag team champions, but not really you being a tag team champion. Thomas being tag team champion. It's you just kind of leading it, and you kind of afterthought. Now here we are again. About to put you back into the main picture. And so I think WWE was really good doing that, and they just kind of know that. And last thing, of course, I want to talk about before we go is Jade. We got Jade and Rhea having a back and forth. I think Jade looked a lot better in this promo. It was definitely more believable out of all her promos she had with Rhea. I thought this probably was my favorite one. So I don't waste people's time. I just want to get right into it. We don't need to talk. Let's go ahead and just get on with it. I thought Rhea did a really good job. She got really fired up. She said, "Hey, yep, you're right. You're not making a lot of friends, but you also had Jade, and pull out a line from CM Punk. Said, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money."
Yeah.
So we had that.
A lot of people were putting that video out. They said, "Well, we heard that from."
Yep. So we had gotten that, and we had Rhea have a really good response to that, saying, "Right, yes, you have done a good job not making friends." Kind of blowing those lines, but we have heard that Jade is not really liked, in the locker room. So I kind of like that. She's still saying she's that bitch, but it's sexy. This one here sounded definitely more believable, so I really like that. And of course we have Rhea said, "Hey, go ahead and hit me right now." She said, "No, on my time," and we had the commentary do a really good job of us believing that she was going to walk away. She actually jumped down. The commentary said, "Hey, still mess up her nice outfit, her nice shoes." I thought she was just going to walk away. She's going to come back and do something else later, probably do a cheap shot. Well, nope. We got, Michin, and God, because she put down that Kindle stick down. Sometimes I see her carrying that. Man, yeah, she carried that Kindle stick like it's a goddamn money in the bank damn briefcase. I mean, can you put it down, Michin? You seen it backstage down, we seen it. Oh, jeez. But yeah, we got Michin and B-Fab come out. We're like, at first we're thinking, hey, they're here to help Rhea, circle the ring, get in, beat her down. Commentary did a good job of saying, hey, they had problems with Jade for weeks, and now here they are, over there, siding, with Jade and beating down Rhea. So the beatdown was really great. And yeah, and now the only thing I will say is that I feel like, and I think a lot of people have been feeling this way as well, is that Rhea is going to win at WrestleMania. But now we know exactly, if that does happen, exactly where Jade is going to go. She's going to have her own faction. I think it's great. I think it's great for a lot of reasons. One, because as we know, Jade is not the best in the ring. We all know that. Okay, I want somebody to prove me otherwise. But she looks great. So now we can have her do something else of her being more of a leader, still wrestling, but being more of a leader role. So it's putting her in a different predicament. We've seen her do the tag team stuff. Unfortunately, Bianca's out, injury, Naomi's out, maternity leave. So now we get to see her go to a different phase and working more like a leader, manager, but still doing matches, but mostly as like a leader manager. So it's a way to kind of hide her flaws in the ring by taking on a different role. It's also a great thing because it gives Michin and B-Fab a different direction and just kind of being backstage and kind of being lost in the tag team division. It gives them, while still being a tag team, because as you know, we definitely need women's tag teams. You know that, and I know that. But it also allows them to do something else and to actually have a spotlight on them. Michin is great in the ring. B-Fab has shown amazing last few matches that she has had. You know, the way she has trained is definitely shown. So now, you know, we have a way where it benefits really all three in this predicament. You know, we might even have, you know, mixing up. You know, you might have matches with Michin and Jade. You might have matches with Jade and B-Fab and vice versa. So it does kind of give dimension to the women's division. So I definitely like that. And then last point of that is as well is that, hey, you know, if Jay loses, it keeps her also strong at WrestleMania because you could have the great old, hey, here comes Michin and B-Fab out there to help her, and while they don't actually cause her to lose, it indirectly does because it kind of lets her slip up for a quick second, and you have Rhea kind of come in and take advantage of that small, you know, oversight, and then wins the championship, but it doesn't undermine Jay being strong. So I think all of this on paper is absolutely great booking. I think it's a great booking decision by WWE.
Yeah, I do. You pretty much said the same thing I said before you came.
That's a lie. I don't believe it. I'm gonna go back and listen to it.
I know you don't, but you supposed to believe me. I'm your partner now. Come on now.
Oh,
but
my partner
something like that. Definitely that. Definitely that. I do appreciate everything you do for me and stuff, especially when I'm tired and going to sleep. So I can't take that away from you. But we already said who to follow, you guys. Final Boss gave you all the thoughts. She got 14 more people in here, so I guess 14 more people wanted to hear Final Boss's thoughts and not my thoughts.
Yeah, what's that shit you used to say? The needle mover. The damn ratings bringer.
You got 14 people. You got 14 people.
Hey, ain't nothing wrong with 14. Stop playing with me. Shit.
Sometimes you guys just let her have it. Sometimes you just gotta let her have it, y'all. Whatever. Ain't you? Don't you got some shopping to do? See, I know how to get you. You know?
No.
Okay, see, I'm surprised you don't.
That was yesterday.
Oh well, hey, that seems like that's every day.
Hey! While you was over there sleeping, I was over there shopping, over there supporting, the Golden Boy DWE over there late night. So shut up.
Well, I had to wake up early because I had to get a load a certain place. So look, please forgive me. I had to go to sleep early. I wanted to get an early start, and still couldn't go early because I had more time to be in the sleeper. Jesus Christ! But that's a story for another day. We are out of here, guys. Appreciate everyone who is coming in today. Thank you guys.
Appreciate my 14 who came for me. Stop playing. Shout out to y'all. You're the real ones out there. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Radio.
Shout out to y'all.
Radio not a sorry. I should say that. The radio not a fucking radio. Okay, now go ahead.
If you guys want to rewatch this, you can go watch it on YouTube. That's Talking Up Podcast, or you can go check it out on Spotify. That's DWE Radio on Spotify. That's the radio. On the radio. But guess what? We're on Twitch. We're on Spotify, and we're on YouTube. And you're saying, Miami, there are only 3 episodes of DWE, but guess what? You got to find the 1st through 12th episode on Spotify. That's how you can find them. Upload them to YouTube. So you got to go subscribe.
Wait, hold on. Shout out to the Hardys, because there's company right next to me. There's this truck. It say Hardy Brothers on there, man. I guess they know man Jeff Hardy, man. Shout out to them, bro.
Damn, folks don't know.
The Hardys, man. The Hardy Brothers. That's the Hardy Brothers I know.
Shouts out to Z. Shouts out to Aries. He came in and made a comment. So shouts out to Aries and Z. Shouts out to our caller for today, which was Reggie. Like I say, guys, we will have the link on the pages. If we will promote it. If you want to come in and let us know how you felt about the week of the wrestling, we will take your call and you could be a guest on DWE Radio. So, other than that, we are out. Fighter Balls. Any last thoughts, Fighter Balls? Yes, no, maybe so. We gotta go.
No radio. Yeah, not fucking radio. Shout out to 14. No. Yeah.
15.
Stop playing. 15. Man, stop playing, man. I'm the radio in, man. 15. Man, okay. Shit, what radio is that? I want to be known not for the fans, but to be known for my title, man. I'm known for that 15. Stop playing. Shit.
Sometimes I just wonder. All right, y'all. We out of here. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all again next Saturday, or probably earlier than that, depending on if Raw's good. You'll probably see us Wednesday, but other than that, we will see you guys Saturday. Peace, love. We are out.